What is up, everybody? It's the Broccoli and Breakdowns podcast. I'm Tanner, and this is episode number 7. We've got ourselves a not-so-local celebrity today with James Anthony Legion. He was the lead singer of Motograter, where he did many tours, and along the way slept in a murder house, got a compliment from Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch, and performed with Aaron of Gemini Syndrome. His new project, Cultist Black, is looking to have a new album for us by the end of the year, so you definitely want to stay up to date on them. Go ahead and give them a like on Facebook, and while there, throw us a like as well. You're currently listening to Motograter's song Dorian, and if you stick around till the very end, you'll hear some of the new stuff that he's working on. As always, you can listen to all episodes of the Broccoli and Breakdowns podcast on Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and all other major streaming services. Thanks again for tuning in. Joined 2015?
I don't know what year it was. I
Facebook creep, don't worry.
Okay,
cool. It was 2015, I think. So you joined Motograter. Were they were a band before? Just like touring, or?
Oh yeah. They were a band from fucking, when did they start? Like 1996 or 5 or
that makes sense.
A long fucking time ago. You know.
How'd you get there?
Well, fuck.
You made me want to pause. You made me want to.
Oh yeah, because I got one. It's one of those things, like I had, been in a lot of other bands and shit, and I had a music video online.
Is that Dead?
It was Dead Form, yeah.
I really like that song.
Well, thank you.
I do. I really do. Yeah. Okay.
But that video was what got me in the Motograter, because I had a friend that had toured with the band briefly, and he was aware that they were looking for a singer, and so he showed him my stuff, and then Nuke called me and was like, hey, are you interested in joining the band? And I actually had listened to Motograter growing up some and stuff, because I was into nu metal, and they were a nu metal act, along the lines of Slipknot and all those sorts of guys. So, I was excited to be a part of it, but I tend to be very reserved and calculated with stuff. So I was like, I'm not going to just jump on this and be like, yes! So I said, okay, well, send me a track of some of your new stuff, and I will lay down some of my stuff, and you let me know what you think. If you like it, if we work well together, then we'll do this. But one thing for me was, I was not trying to be Ivan Moody, I'm not...
What?
He was the old singer of Motograter, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he leave and then join, or then start?
Yeah.
Five Finger,
yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, that makes a lot of. Okay, that makes sense. That
you
makes a lot
you didn't
of
know
sense.
that? Didn't find that?
No. I
but
didn't research him.
Yeah. But they had a singer between Ivan and me, and that guy was trying to sound like Ivan Moody, and I didn't know if they were pushing.
Yeah, you don't sound anything like him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I didn't know if they were pushing that guy to sound like him, or if he just... I don't know what the deal was, but I don't sound like Ivan Moody. So I'm like, I want to be careful here that I'm not going to go and try to pretend like you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to sing the way I sing. If you like that, then great. If you don't, then, oh well,
Which you can only sing,
Yeah, I mean, you can't...
I'm learning is you can try to fake it, but,
yeah,
you got to find what's just going to be natural.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. You can force it, and you can try to sound like somebody else, but people see through that shit. So that was that, and they did like what I sent them, and so I joined the band, and we released that song. It was called Portrait of Decay, and we actually released a demo that we did, as a single. I'm trying to remember who tracked that demo.
Is this with Motor?
Motograder.
Motograder.
Motograder, yeah. It's funny. It's funny because some people can't say the name. But, man, it really bugs me. I can't remember who tracked that demo. Because
Was it here?
Yeah, it was definitely here. But, see, I'm torn because I can't remember if Sid did it or if it was, Black Plate, if it was John.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember.
Who's Sid?
I can't, Sid, I can't remember his last name. I just, always went by Sid. But he's actually with Florida Georgia Line now.
Oh,
nice. But he was bass player for Glass Casket back in the day.
Okay.
You know who Glass Casket is?
No,
It's Between the Buried and Me. It's members of Between the Buried and Me.
It sounds really familiar now.
Yeah, it's
Now that you say that.
yeah, it's some of the guys from BT Bam had a band called Glass Casket, and we used to play with them a lot when I had my other band Obsidian back in the day, and at the brewery and shit. And so we met him there, and he ran sound at the brewery a little bit, and then he had a band called Yearling, which
That sounds really familiar.
yeah, kind of like a pop rock sort of thing, which was really weird because we're like Glass Casket and then this and then this. Like the dude has had a really odd transition, from fucking Glass Casket to a pop rock band to Florida Georgia Line. But he's super talented, and he actually runs a studio in Tennessee with one of the other dudes from Florida Georgia Line now. But I can't.
Gotta be the long haired guy.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
It is.
He's gotta be the one writing the music. So I know a little bit of Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah.
So.
But
Okay.
I'm sorry to break it up. Good politics.
But yeah, he does have long hair. But I can't remember if it was him because it was a transitional period where he was like moving out to Tennessee, and because I'd worked with him on everything prior to that, like the Dead Form stuff was him, and then I transitioned over to John. And I just can't remember who did that demo, but John would know.
So did they just send you like instrumentals and then you sent over it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they just sent an instrumental, and then I wrote and tracked to it. And that was that. They dug it. We released the single, and immediately after I did that, they're like, "Okay, well, we have a tour, booked already." So
well, learn the songs.
yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it was booked before I joined. I don't know what they were thinking.
Did they have?
They did have a singer, I guess, but they hadn't been in contact with him. Like the story, as far as I knew, is he kind of was MIA, So, I do know now because knowing the way that band works, they fucking Nuke would just take anything that come his way, whether they're ready or not. It doesn't matter, and you just make it work.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's what happened. They're like, hey, promoter or booking agents, like, hey, you want to do this tour? He's like, fuck yeah! And then they're on the tour, and wait, well, how are we gonna do it?
You figured it. I mean, I do get that though. Because, someone offered me a tour, I'd be like, all right, let's go. I'll figure it out on the way.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out on the road.
I could say a lot of bad things about Nuke. And, we'll see how the podcast goes. But I can say that one thing that I learned from him is just that. Because I'm really a planner, and I'm really, like...
Type A?
Yeah, I want to really figure shit out before I make a step and, like... take all the possible directions it could go into consideration, and I'm that sort of guy. But Nuke is the exact opposite. He's very spontaneous, and so I've kind of through him I kind of learned, okay, sometimes you just got to fucking jump in, don't think about it, just do it, and then if it works, it works. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you got to do that, because if you don't, then you end up just sitting there thinking about it for forever, and your opportunity passes you by. A lot of his decision making was total shit, but I did learn that.
There might be a lot of shit in there, but at least if some of it works out.
Yeah, and to be honest, a surprising amount of it worked out.
Yeah.
A surprising amount of the stuff that he just randomly jumped into without any thought whatsoever. Just it worked out. It was a pain in the ass, and stressed us all out, but
So who was he in the band?
The guitarist. He was the only original member.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, you said he started off in the 90s.
Yeah.
you didn't join till 2015.
Yeah.
Where were they at, like, success?
They had fallen the fuck off. They were dead, basically.
They did have some success, and they fell
Yeah,
off.
they
Okay.
back in the day, like they, Dez from Coal Chamber had kind of like found them and helped them get like a record deal, and like the guy that had done, he had done a Slipknot album. I don't know which one or what the deal was, but either way, he was like did their album, and they had the label, and this was back in the day when you get money up front, you know, like they had the money, like they were fucking sitting pretty, you know, and they were on Ozfest, you know, they toured with Manson, they toured with Ministry, they toured with a lot of big bands. They were on
with Ivan?
this was with Ivan.
Okay.
Yeah, they did they had Down. There was a single which is still at fucking karaoke bars and stuff, but it was like, you know, it made it on the Billboard charts and was very popular. They did a song Suffocate, which was on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in. If we have the DVD for, not the like old school original, but the one that came out in the, I guess
Like
it's
2000s?
yeah.
Okay.
If you have the DVD or whatever, Blu-ray, or then like at the end of it, there's a music video. It's a Motor Grader music video at the end of it for Suffocate.
That's awesome. That's okay.
Really cool.
yeah.
I like that shit.
Yeah, that was a good movie too. Like pretty brutal. I haven't seen it in a while now, but yeah. So yeah, they were very successful back in the day, and you know,
I mean,
Nuke and Ivan really clashed, and they were all messed up, and eventually Ivan split. And the way Nuke tells it, he said that the last show that they did, like I guess Motor Grader and Five Finger played together, and that Ivan asked Nuke to join Five Finger, and Nuke was like, "Fucking, that's a shitty name. That's a stupid name. You know, that band's never going to go anywhere. Motor Grader all the way." And
so he asked them. So Ivan's forming a new band.
Yeah.
Forms a new band, and then asks Nuke to join it.
yeah.
To leave his other band. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
That's-
he says no, and you know, I don't know how true that is,
Yeah.
but that's what Nuke told me. And you know, talking about forming or whatever, you know, Zoltan's like really the guy that brought that band together, but
Right.
you know, Ivan was part of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they were very successful in the beginning, and then they fell off because Ivan left. And I don't know what all the transitional pieces are here, or when they were alive and when they weren't, but they brought in Michael, and he, like I said, was trying to sound like, you know,
Yeah.
Ivan Moody. And you know, if he hears this, I'm not talking shit, but
We'll tell
I'm
him.
just saying, you know, it is what it is. And
Mhm.
and I believe I had heard him speak of before that, you know, the band wanted him to sound like Ivan. So, you know, maybe not even his fault. You know, I don't know. I have no idea. I wasn't there. But it is what it is.
I do enjoy. My favorite one is he's the lead singer for Three Days Grace right now. It's the bassist.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking. I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Because in My Darkest Days, you hear I think you hear his real voice.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you.
And
Yeah.
then you hear him in 3 Days Grace. It got better because I think he stopped trying to sound so much
Yeah.
like Adam Gontier.
Yeah.
But that when he first joined, I was like, "Oh, bro,
Yeah, what are you doing?"
He's
Yeah.
just trying to copy him."
Yeah. No, and yeah, like we said earlier, which I don't know if you were recording that or not. I don't know where we started, but yeah, you gotta be yourself. And so I think that was part of the problem there. But they had a lot of problems. They some of the members couldn't leave the state of California.
Yep.
You know, stuff like that.
Makes
So
for a good tour right there.
yeah, they couldn't tour.
Awesome.
So either way, but they at first they did tour, because I heard tell that they had toured through North Carolina and stuff, because I had friends that said that they had seen him with him. I didn't even know they were a thing anymore. But anyways, they fell off. They had tried to release another album. It didn't happen. They had some demos that were like released that were not mixed or mastered or anything, and just didn't sound very good. they were kind of developing a reputation as a train wreck, you know.
Okay.
And so then I come in, and it's supposed to be like kind of a new breath for the band. And like I mentioned earlier, whenever I got brought in, they had already booked a tour, and that tour was it's a civil unrest tour, which started out, it was supposed to be in these are all kind of older bands, but El Nino and Kitty and OTEP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you done a tour at this point before?
I had done a couple.
Okay, with Dead Form?
No. See, there's
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a lot that you probably wouldn't find even trying to research, but because a lot of it's not that didn't do so well. It wasn't that popular, you know, and old. But Dead Form didn't really do much. Dead Form like sprang from another project that I was doing, was the Breathing Process, which is a band based in Connecticut, and they, it's funny because we're working backwards, but the Breathing Process, Jordan like had some other riffs and stuff, and like some more kind of radio friendly stuff that he wanted to work on. And so, you know, I could do clean vocals and stuff as well as scream. So he was like, hey, let's try to work on this. So that's how Dead Form came about. But we never played a show with Dead Form.
Okay. We made a music video.
We made a music video.
Recorded.
We actually, like, we had an EP's worth of material, and we went to Eyal Levy, who he has that podcast, Unstoppable Recording Machine or whatever. Actually, he's pretty popular now, and back in the day he had done like as far as recording, he had recorded a lot of really heavy bands, but also Motionless in White was most notably to me, as he had done Motionless in White, but he had done, I can't remember, there were like popular like deathcore and like super heavy bands, you know. And we were trying to do something that was predominantly clean, so I was like, I don't know. You know, from his body of work, Monuments, though. He had done Monuments, too.
Okay, yeah.
Does have claims. But, anyways, we were supposed to do an EP with him, and actually that's when the whole fucking thing fell apart, and I joined Motograder. But I digress. We never did nothing with it. The Breathing Process is who I toured with. I toured with them for a couple of years. We just did tour. It was over the period of time we didn't do much. We did 2 or 3 tours. Like we did a tour in Canada, which was cool. We did some stuff on the East Coast, and we never went out west really. It was mostly East Coast and Canada, and a little maybe in a little Midwest, you know. But we never got so far. They kept teasing me with going overseas, which is something throughout my career that has been teased to me, starting around that period. And it's a big goal for me now, is I want to fucking go tour overseas, because it's been teased to me like for so long.
Have you ever been overseas?
I haven't been.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Like, I feel it.
Yeah, it's a big thing for me. Like, there's a lot more on this planet than this continent, you know, and I want to fucking see it, and I want to perform there. I want, you know, so that's...
Okay, so you're doing tour, you join Motograder.
Yeah.
And I'll get it one time.
There's no R in there.
I'll get it one
Moto,
time.
man.
Moto, brother.
Brother. So you're booked for this tour. You guys you just joined like what 2 weeks before and learned the songs.
Oh, you're talking. We're back on the Moto, the first Moto tour. Yeah. Well, you know, they're in California and I'm in North Carolina. So I just flew out there, and when you really think about this, because I did the same thing with the Breathing Process, because they're in Connecticut, and when I'm on the plane flying out to meet this I've never fucking met, you know, or anything, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy, you know. I am boarding a fucking plane and flying across the country to go meet a group of dudes that I don't know at all, I've never met in my life, and start touring with him. Yeah,
You'd be trapped in a bus with them.
yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird, and you just hope that you can get along.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's what we did. I went out there 1 week before the tour started, and we practiced for a week, and we hit the road. Yeah.
The whole country tour?
Yeah. That tour was 3 months long. Do you know how many days we had off in those 3 months?
5?
Like 7?
2.
2 days?
Oh.
2 days off in 3 months.
Oh.
That's a lot of... Dude, that's a lot of...
You want to talk about jumping in the deep end?
I was
Yeah.
like, how was your voice doing?
Dude. See, I'm usually alright, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I had never done anything like that. But I still feel like I would have been fine. But there's a thing that I didn't ever think about or take in consideration. You're traveling across the country, all these places you've never been before, encountering all these different germs and all these different that you have not built up any sort of. I got sick as fuck, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Do you have like allergies or just?
I got what we called the fucking moto sickness because it went around the whole tour, which that was a big tour. It was so many people on the bill. I can't remember how many bands there were. There was like 10 bands. It was like a traveling fucking circus. It was ridiculous, but it went around the whole.
60 people.
It was crazy.
Just the bands.
Yeah,
Like,
just the bands.
musicians.
If
It's
no
like
one
that.
showed up for the shows
Yeah.
but the bands, we
Yeah.
still got an audience. It was nuts. But yeah, the whole tour got sick, you know, at one point or another. I don't think anyone was spared, but we called it the moto sickness, and it was bad. Like, you know, you cough up yellow, whatever. No, it was like dark green, like just nasty shit. And it hit hard. It was not good. But I had that, right? Which doesn't do any favors to your voice. But I kind of kicked it, and it came back. Like, I got it, kicked it for about a week, and then it came back. And I'm like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? So then, like, another week, I had the same shit. And then I got laryngitis because of singing and screaming
you gotta keep going.
every night. Yeah, I only got 2 days off and been sick as shit, you know. So then I got laryngitis. So luckily, not luckily at all, I'm being facetious, the laryngitis, I got it a couple of days before, like, one of our biggest shows, which was this festival, and I don't remember where the fuck we were. But it was one of the larger shows, right? Oh, God. I couldn't speak. Like, I could not speak.
Yeah.
So I had them, I was literally, like, I was, like, messaging people, and because I'm not going to talk, you know, vocal rest or whatever. And even if I wanted to talk,
Nothing's coming
it's
out.
not good, you know? But I'm like, I'm not going to miss this fucking show. Like, I've got to make this happen. So I had them take me to a doctor, and I got steroids, and, you know, I was looking up all these different recipes and shit.
Stuff, yeah.
So I actually, there was some dude that I got in contact with that had written a book about, you know, vocal remedies and stuff like that. And he told me about some concoction that had, like, it was cayenne pepper and, of course, lemon, which I'm not supposed to have,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're going to fucking tough it out for now. So it was like lemon and cayenne pepper and salt, of course, hot water and like vinegar. And it's like, it's got to be the vinegar with the mother in it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vinegar with the mother.
With the mother in it. Yeah, I had never heard that either. But, you know, if you look in the store, you've got basic vinegar, and then it's got, like, raw organic vinegar or whatever with the mother. It says it on it, with
It
the
says
mother.
it.
With the mother,
What does
yeah.
that mean?
I don't really know, but apparently it's good. So, you know.
See, that's. I need some of that shit, I think.
Yeah. So I got that, and it was like, you know, you just gargle it, you know, you don't swallow it. I'm like, well, after you taste it, you don't want to fucking swallow it anyways. But so I had that, and I had steroids, and fucking Jesus Christ, man. The doctor was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna give you these. He's like, but I don't recommend that you use it and sing because you can damage your shit, you know. And I don't think he said it exactly as articulate as I just did, but that's basically what he said. So, you know, and I took it, but I did not speak the entire day. And I think actually one of our days off, if I remember correctly, did fall the day before that. So I was lucky in that regard because I was like, okay, I don't have to sing this one night, so I can kind of. So I didn't sing, speak, talk, or anything for the period of time up to that. And right before we went on, I didn't do any vocal warm-ups. I usually do vocal warm-ups. I didn't do any. I'm like,
if you're gonna,
we're just if I'm
going
going
to save what you got.
Yeah.
Just gonna save it and go.
Yeah, and so I took my fucking steroid and I gargled that shit. And before we go on, everybody's like, "You good to go?" I'm like, I really don't know, but
We're gonna do it.
So there's actually video of this show online. You can look up. It was like Serious something Fest or something. And so I go out on stage and I had some throat spray and I had all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking ready. And I go out and the first words that I utter that I was yelling at the crowd. But I did it. I did the whole show, and if you listen to it, I was pretty good.
Hell yeah.
My voice sounded a little lower than usual, I had a different
grit.
Yeah, I had a different tone. But for the most part, I hit my notes.
Yep.
I did
as
my
long as
shit.
you're right in there, you'll be fine.
And I surprised myself. I was like, fuck yeah. Pulling it through in a pinch.
How far into the tour was this?
Oh, I don't know. It was.
So I'm thinking if you still got another month of touring afterwards.
And I did for sure. I mean, I can't say exactly where it was, but it was somewhere around the middle. But yeah, and there was one show that I missed during that period of time, and I remember it was a big deal because I was just and it was me and my girlfriend's anniversary too, actually. So it was a bad day. Because when you're on tour and you got a girlfriend back home and it's tough. But that I remember it was I'm pretty damn sure it was our anniversary. I was like, I can't remember if it's her birthday or anniversary. I think it was our anniversary, and I couldn't fucking speak. I was fucked up, And we had a show, but it wasn't a big show, And I was like, guys, sorry, but I'm texting this, I'm fucked up, and I should not sing. I need to save myself for a show that people are going to be at, because it was one of those deals where it's not a big show,
Did they have someone that could fill it, someone from the other band?
Actually,
or something?
the shirt I'm wearing here, and this is totally a coincidence, but it's Dead Horse Drama. And Eric from Dead Horse was on tour with us, and he actually filled in for me.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Which was funny, because he didn't know half the fucking lyrics, so he was trying to... It was rough, man. But he had, all these cue cards, so he could try to... It was rough, and we... I can't remember what the fuck the deal was with that. I want to say that was... We must have been headlining that show, which means it would have been an off date where... Yeah, because... The thing was, when the higher ups on the tour package were off, we still fucking played shows,
That's why you only had 2 days off.
Yeah,
because you're playing all those in
between. We're playing all the in between. Yeah, and so that was the day, and that was also part of the reason why I was like, let's just not fucking But I remember the promoter was pissed off. It was like, man, we didn't pay you for this other dude to jump up there and pretend to fucking sing the songs. We paid for your fucking singer to get up there and do his thing, and they're like, well, he can't talk, and we had the option of dropping out or fucking doing it, and I walked in on them arguing about it, and I was like, just turned around and walked out, and I'm like, I'm not trying to get into a fucking argument right now, and I can't even hardly talk, that's, oh man, it was
also not your battle.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not your battle.
Yeah.
That's why you have a manager. That's why you have someone.
We didn't have a manager at the time.
That's why you have the one guy that.
That's why you have the one psychopath that's gonna yell at people, which happens frequently. But yeah, man, that tour was brutal, and like I said, talk about just in the deep end. 3 months with 2 days off with a band that you've never fucking played a note with. Some of the shit that I did with Motograder just defies reason. It really does. And that's another thing, though, I will say that was really good about that band is we made shows happen. we were not a band that was going to cancel fucking willy-nilly. You know, like, something was seriously wrong if we were canceling the show. But I had been in other bands that was not the case. One of the other bands, and I will try to not say names, but people may draw conclusions. They would
It's gonna be dropped. It's okay.
they would straight up they would cancel a show like on the way to the gig 'cause they didn't feel like going.
Was this before or after Moto Grader?
Well, it was before.
Before.
Yeah.
And now we can draw conclusions.
Well, you don't know. I may have toured with other. I did tour with another band actually, but anyways, yeah, they would do that, and I never liked that because
Well, there's people that are like,
even if it's only
trying.
Yeah.
Like,
They're-
they want to see you.
exactly, yeah, and they've paid money to see you, and you don't want to. That's just bad business too, in whatever you're doing, and it's a music business, even though it's kind of,
And music is
it's
so easy to fall off.
yeah,
It's so easy to get knocked off. Where
Yeah.
like your name is kind of everything. Your name is like so important in something like this. It's
Yeah.
the same thing in like comedy and any kind of art form, basically.
Yeah.
It's all like your name. That's who you are. So like if you get a bad rep to your name,
yeah, you're fucked.
people will stop.
Stop going to your show. Yeah, I know there's been bands in the past that I remember. Again, I won't say who, but like they were never at their shows. Like I'm like, okay, this band is playing, and it'll be a lineup of a few bands, but I consistently this one band that just they were not at their shows. I'm like, how do they even keep getting booked if they never fucking show up? It's kind of weird. But yeah. What else? What else you got?
So that's your first tour. That's something like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, first tour with Moto. Yeah.
How long were you with them?
Until last year.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot, okay.
Yeah.
You guys do how many more tours did you do then?
Several.
Several?
Yeah.
Album.
We did the
I know
album.
I saw
We did an
some
album.
music videos.
Yeah, we did a couple of music videos, and we did Desolation was the album that we released, which was the first album since Ivan.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
How was that process? Is that out in California?
It was fucked up, as everything that we did with Moto Grader was. Just very thrown together, like fucked up. We recorded it all over the fucking country. Yeah, the drums were done. I don't know where, somewhere in the U.S. Josh Wickman, and I wish I could tell you what bands he's done, but he's done a few, but I don't remember them right now. He's got a name though. He's worked with some notable acts. He like mixed and mastered too, I believe. Well, maybe he just mastered. John Barrier is involved too. There's a lot of people involved. John Barrier, Black Plate was involved. Josh Wickman was involved. Aru Luster from Machine Head and El Nino out in Denver, Colorado was involved. I think that's everybody. We had some dude overseas that did the fucking synth stuff. Like keyboards and synth shit, which was just kind of shit layered in. But yeah, literally, like it was tracked all over the fucking country. I flew out to Denver to track the vocals. I did the demos here with John, and actually one of the demos made it onto the album.
Really?
Yeah, which is kind of weird, but it's one of those things like.
It sounds better. It sounds better.
Well, we didn't even track. We were pressed for time, and the band really liked the demo, and Aru wanted to change it, and so ultimately he's like, "Well, if they don't want to fucking change anything, just keep the demo version because we're pressed for time anyhow." So that's what we did.
How long did you have to record that then?
For vocals, I was in Denver for like a week and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we tracked vocals first. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling you, we do everything
You mean
different.
the exact opposite of
Yeah,
everyone
just
else.
basically like that's the way Moto Grader worked. Is anything that makes sense, you do the opposite of that. But it kind of worked and made sense in a way because we had all the demos, so we had like demo tracks and stuff. And doing the vocals first allowed me to kind of drive the direction of the songs more so than the guitarist.
Especially with the new vocal style.
Yeah.
Like, not what they're used to. It might, hopefully, it help them.
Yeah,
like,
and
know where to go.
And Aru is a guitarist, so he was able to sit there and like play shit with me, and we actually wrote a couple of the songs kind of in the studio, there, and so it was kind of nice for me to have like this open palette of I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And these guys got to kind of follow suit, So that was nice for me.
It's so weird because you're the new guy coming in the band.
Yeah, true. And of course, at this point, I was probably in the band a year and a half or more before we tracked the album. So I was a new guy.
How long had it been? How long had it been since they've done an album then?
Like 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
A little while. Just a little while.
It'd been a long time. Which is funny because there was still a fan base. Surprisingly, people remembered the band. And of course the connection with Ivan and all that sort of stuff. But we definitely did have to rebuild that. Like going back to the first tour, our guarantees were shit on the first tour because we were trying to rebuild, and it got better while I was in the band. Towards the end, we were staying in pretty nice hotels and stuff, and it was kind of.
Hotels?
Yeah, I know.
You were sleeping on the ground?
No, the first tour we were. We had 10 people in I guess it was I don't know, it's a 12-passenger van or whatever. We had 10 people in there.
Trailer on the back?
Yeah.
Yep.
And, we would sleep in that thing a lot of the time, And that's comfortable. Actually, the back seat was where I set up camp because I like to be in the back in a way. But I had a bunk mate, and we had to switch who would sleep on the bench and who would sleep
on the floor
under the bench, essentially, because the floor space in the back bench, it's like that.
Yeah.
Like it's small because it's smaller than all the other seats, and I don't know why I took the fucking back bench knowing that, but I just wanted to be in the back away, and so yeah, but. Sleeping on the floor down there is by far the worst place to sleep in the band. By far. Because the floor on the other side, at least you have you can roll around. You feel like you're in literally in a tin can or a sarcophagus. Like, you're just like, and you have to wedge yourself in there.
To get in there,
yeah.
Would I fit in there?
No. You wouldn't. Sorry, bro.
Good.
It's like that much space,
I can squeeze.
No.
I had to squeeze, not comfortable, and I can give some stories about places we stayed because that's pretty shitty.
What's the worst?
Well, I don't know the worst.
Most memorable.
Yeah, one that sticks out in my mind is the murder house that we stayed in. Yeah.
Man.
So.
Was it Villisca?
Hmm.
Villisca, Iowa. Villisca Murder House.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't like a notable murder house, except for my purposes here. And I don't remember what state we were in. That's another thing. When you're on tour for 3 fucking months, you have no idea where you are, what day it is. So wherever we were, I remember we were playing some club, some bar, and one of our guys was talking to some fucking older lady, and the barkeep was like, he's like, man, you don't want to fuck with that chick. Like she's got some STDs, and so my bandmate replies with, "Dogs gotta eat, man." And so we go home with this lady because she says that she has a mansion, is the way she puts it, a huge house. It was I I'll have to I don't remember how many exactly bedrooms it was. She said it was something like 8 bedrooms and like
You're just
3 baths.
a
and
roof?
And
Okay.
yeah, we're like,
fun
oh, right on, fucking whatever you're gonna do, you do your thing. But cool, we got a house, and so we go to this house, and like we're pulling up, and it's like kind of offset, from the road, like down this dirt path, and you go back there and kind of wooded, and it's like this big scary house, like like you see like abandoned houses, like big abandoned like fucking haunted houses. This is what it looked like. And we're like, well, that's not quite the way she described it. She said she had a jacuzzi too. So the guys are all tripping out, like, this is dope, So we go in, and so I'm noticing it looks pretty run down, and we're back off the woods, and I'm like, are we gonna get murdered? So we go in, and like I walk inside, and it's like a hoarder's house. You've seen hoarders or those shows, just shit everywhere, and her jacuzzi was piled full of trash, like bags of trash.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't even shower here. Like, so like we're walking
Surprised
through.
the water's on.
Yeah, I never even checked. It may not have been. But so we go through, and there's children, several like young children that are all sleeping on like piles of clothes and trash in the living room, and I'm just like,
Oh my gosh.
okay. So then we turn, and so she's like, there's some of the bedrooms are upstairs, and so me and one of the other dudes turn around, let's go see if it's better upstairs, So we're walking upstairs, and there's like blood stains, like up the walls and on the staircase, like looked like somebody like had blood all over their hands and was like, oh, like falling down the stairs or something. And we're like, well, this is concerning, and
Husband.
what's that?
It's probably her husband.
Probably.
Yeah.
She probably murdered that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's
Not
what
the
I'm
husband
saying.
anymore.
Yeah. And so then we make our way upstairs, and upstairs there's no trash. There's no anything. It's just like an abandoned house upstairs. Like it's just all like wood and like peeling paint, and there's like one room that has like an old like TV sitting in the middle of the floor, and there are 2 beds up there. One of them's like a single bed, and the other one looks more like maybe this woman sleeps in this bed, But the thing that I noticed was there's padlocks on the outside of every bedroom. Now, why would there be padlocks on the outside of every... Why would there be padlocks at all, but in particular on the outside, unless you're locking somebody into the
You're
room?
locking someone in there.
So,
My first thought went to the locking kids in rooms.
yeah,
And I was
so,
like, that's fucked.
yeah. Or us,
Or you,
She
yeah.
could be planning to
She's probably gonna eat you.
capture us.
Oh.
So, now the question is begged, did we stay at this house? Yes, we did.
Yeah, the roof. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We did stay there. I remember
The hallway.
I actually
Good
took
enough.
the single bed in the one room, and I had like my sleeping bag, and I threw it on because I'm like, I don't even want to touch. I don't know what has happened here, so I just threw my sleeping bag. I just laid on top of it, and I slept there. Some guys slept in.
The hinges.
Huh?
I take the door off the hinges.
I know, right? I definitely left the door open, and I'm like, if somebody comes up here, I'll hear them. Because it was dead quiet in there, like at
So
night.
creepy.
And it was creepy as fuck. But like some of the guys slept in the van, but the problem with that was they had left the fucking windows open, and there was like a bunch of insects in the van because they left the damn dome light on too. So yeah, and Nuke was out there, and you don't want to sleep around Nuke really usually, because he like screams and yells in his sleep and fights ninjas. So you don't want to do that. So that was an interesting. There was another one that this crack house that we stayed at.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, and I just remember it was like in a basement. Like I guess it was like their apartment was like a basement under the other apartments or whatever. It was all cement floors, and there was a dead bird. There was a decapitated dead bird laying like in their doorway. Like when you walk in, it's just laying on the floor, And I was like, okay, welcome, I guess. And I woke up with pink eye, actually. I had a blow up bed that I sat in there, and it was just filth. Like I felt like we were sleeping at the dump, like just straight up in a fucking garbage, and oh god, and again, this is the one bandmate. He's the one that's responsible for us staying at these places. And again, I guess I will refrain from saying his name, but he Motograder was a rotating door of members, so it could be anybody. They know who they are. He was hooking up with this fucking older sloot that, and she came like, because we all wore paint.
Yeah.
So she comes out and she has like black paint like all over her face and stuff from fucking around with him, and she's just like, stumbling out into the. I'm just like, what in the hell am I doing with my life? What is happening?
Oh let's flip it. What was the best place you stayed?
Oh man, that's thinking positive. I don't know about that. Let's see.
We try to be positive.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that would be. There was some really cool places that we stayed, like when we would go into Kansas City, Missouri. Actually, our drummer Noah had lived there for a time and actually taught drums there, and he knew some of the families and stuff. Mm-hmm. So there was like one family that took us in, and they would always cook a bunch of food for us and stuff, and so it's nice and clean and it was good food, and so that was always really good. Awesome. Then also if you say like flip forward towards the end when we were staying in nicer hotels, like there was a few pretty nice hotels that we stayed in, that was cool. Like with legit jacuzzis, that were actually not filled with trash.
Or kids.
Yeah, or kids sleeping in the.
Just a bed.
Yeah.
Just even a bed.
Yeah, that's good.
Just a pillow. A pillow. Be nice.
But yeah, so that was always good. I'm trying to think. There was several places that we stayed at that were really cool, like just cool people that would feed us, and there was
right there.
There was what's that?
Just food.
Just food.
That's
You already got
part, yeah.
Like home cooked fucking meals. It's great. But there was an Indian reservation that we stayed on, which where the fuck were we? I don't remember, but I don't remember where we were. This was on the last tour that I did with them. Yeah, because Pam was there. Pam was like our tour manager for this one tour, and I'm still friends with her and still working with her. Yeah, I don't remember where we were, but it was an Indian reservation, and they had like a old like fucking. It was like a ship, like on their property that like you could go climb on, and it was pretty cool. And I guess they had like bonfires and shit out there, and they had a pool, and it was just super cool, and they were really good people, and then they cooked for us too, and they had like a big family and like all, and so we had like a big get together, and that was really cool, just lots of, on the road you meet lots of really nice people, there was a dude in Vegas that we saw frequently, and I haven't talked to him in a while, actually. I need to get up with him, but he ended up losing his leg, which is a bummer. But he's always in good spirits, even, and people like that really make you feel bad about yourself. It's like, what in the hell am I worried about, but he always treated us well, we always had his place to stay and cooked for us and stuff. So, there's lots of places that were.
There's the good and the bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I always said that touring is like the best and the worst. Mm-hmm.
The highs and the lows.
Put together, because it really is like, there's nothing in this world that beats getting on the stage and performing in front of a crowd of fucking fans that are totally into your shit, There's nothing better in the world than that.
What was the largest crowd you guys played in front of?
It was the Ink and the Clink. which is a whole other story too. There was I think there was 6,000 at that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that was good, and that was kind of part from me pushing festivals and like festivals. I was trying to get us on festivals, and that one was not one of the bigger boys. You know, it wasn't like the fucking 20, 30, 40, 50,000, but it was the biggest thing that we had done while I was in the band. And I really enjoyed that. The crowd was pretty good. It was interesting because it was 2 stages, right? But they had them laid out so you could stand at the other stage and see this stage.
Okay, yeah.
They were like, kind of like, you know.
They're just like next to each other.
Yeah, nobody can see my hands now, but.
Yeah. Well, it's probably like.
Yeah.
Last time I went to Warped Tour, it was in Boner Springs.
Boner Springs.
It's Bonner Springs, but everyone calls it Boner Springs. It's Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's a suburb, like right outside of Kansas City. So the way they have it set up is like 2 stages right next to each other. Then there's just like a thin little like. It's basically just like string. It's like a string divider in between it.
Yep.
Between the two.
Oh shit! I don't know. Yeah, actually, that's the same thing. We had just like there was like a little, yeah. But basically, saying all that to say that you could stand at the other stage and see us. So this crowd was kind of split because there was people that didn't want to move from the other stage. So they could see us, they were watching us, but I wanted them in front of our stage, you know. So I'm like yelling at the other people, like, get the fuck over here. Because me as a front man, like that's kind of my thing. I'm very aggressive. So, you know, I'm like yelling at them, like in between songs, get your ass over here, you know, I was talking shit. But it was fun, you know. There's video from that online too. And like I get and like stand up on the railing, you know, with the people. And there's some good photos from it because it looks impressive from the photos and shit, you know. I went and stood side stage with when Gemini Syndrome played. And Aaron's fucking a great guy. I love that dude. He's just so down to earth and like, yeah. Okay. He's one of the good ones. He's a good singer. He's one of the good ones because, you know, in the music industry, a lot of times if your band does well, you kind of get a big head. But he's not like that at all. He would always come out and see us when we played Vegas. But anyways, went and stood side stage and watched them, and they played a little bit later in the day. Actually, it was only about 3 bands after us. But just the crowds look super impressive, you know. So that's like one of my big goals is to be able to play like Rock on the Range and shit like that. I really, really, really want that, and I'm going to fucking make it happen one way or another. I'm trying. But I want to fucking play main stage on one of those fucking stages, you know. And it's something that's eluded me so far, and it pisses me off because I see all these other bands that are kind of like, I consider them kind of equals, colleagues to a degree, playing these shows, and I'm like, why not me?
Sometimes I feel like there's almost like the illusion of like when a band is on a show like that, you're like, oh, they're huge.
They're huge,
and then you realize
not
like,
necessarily.
They're really not.
Yeah.
They just got on a show.
They got onto that, yeah. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's different ways to get onto those, but I haven't found my way onto it yet. Pam, and I don't know what to call her. She's kind of a manager, you know, kind of just helping me. She's helping me. She was the tour manager for
Is she
for
still
Motograder.
working with them?
She doesn't work with them anymore.
Okay.
Maybe she does. I don't know. I know she still talks to Nuke. You know, she's tried to keep it friendly. But Moto's not really doing anything right now. I don't know if they were doing something, if she would be helping them or not or whatever. But either way, just goes to say she works for those festivals. You know, so I'm trying to get her to help me get an in on them. And, you know, she may be able to work something out. I don't know.
Does she work with any other artists?
She... Not right now. She's actually kind of stepped out of the music business.
Oh, okay.
And she's working with the hotel business now with Hilton, actually. But I think that's right. She hopefully she can help me fucking get in there because she's works with I can't remember the dude's name that does those, but she has worked with him a lot in the past and does all those festivals like Carolina Rebellion, Rock on the Range, and all those. Is it Dave something Wimmer Productions or something? I don't know. Anyways, she works with them, and so hopefully she can fucking help me get in the door because that's something I really want. I think I've said that enough now. But I'm trying to make it happen with my mind. Trying to, what is it? Visualizing and make shit happen. What are we talking about? I forgot.
We were just talking about tours and stuff. Because, I mean, leading into that, how much, because have you done anything since Motograder?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I joined another band for a hot minute and then left. And now I'm just focusing on my current project, which is locally based, which I was kind of something I was really going for because I've talked to lots of dudes across the country, you know, and it's like, man, if I can have it locally based, it'll be better because then I don't have to fucking fly people all over the country.
Seriously.
So I've really tried to get dudes that are local, to, you know, and so far, you know, I've got a fucking full band, you know, so hopefully it'll work out. You know, we're working on writing an album.
You want to drop names or?
Yeah, I mean we can. It's Wade, which you know Wade, yeah, and Jake.
They may have been dropped on the last podcast.
Okay, fair enough. And Jake and
Jake.
It's Tripp. It's Jake Tripp, but Alex Gooseland or Goslin. I guess it's Goslin. I say Gooseland, but yeah, Alex is our drummer. But yeah, and Scott too.
What? What projects are they in? Or were they?
Fuck, man, they're in a lot of projects.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't even sit here and name you all the projects that they're. Jake in particular is in a bunch of fucking bands.
Okay, yeah. So
I don't think Wade's really doing anything else but us right now.
Did you say the name?
What, the band?
Yes.
I didn't. It's Cultist Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lead.
Yeah, well, we've kind of sat on it a lot, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Mainly because I've been working with Edsel Dope, and he was really trying to get me to...
Sorry, who is this?
It's a band called Dope. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh, no, but...
But, yeah, Edsel is a singer from Dope, and I met him on tour with Motograder, and I was already, like, kind of writing stuff with my buddy Wyatt. Wyatt is another guy that's involved with the project. There's a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
But Wyatt Parrish is his last name. But he goes by Contrast online. If you look him up, he's got a bunch of shit. Like, he's a fucking phenomenal guitarist.
Nice.
But he's been helping me write and stuff. And he kind of predates everything. It was just, we were just writing stuff, and that's kind of what Cultist Black became. But I met Edsel because we were touring with Dope. And Edsel was trying to get me and Nuke to... It's kind of a long story. But he was trying to pitch us to dump Motograder, start a new project. This is like the thing that should... Like, this is like... It's not a reoccurring thing for Nuke. Fucking first Ivan and then Edsel. But to dump Motograder and to start a new project kind of geared towards a younger audience, still with a theatrical thing... But, you know, kind of try to for a younger audience. And Nuke was like, fuck no, fuck you, fuck that, you know. And I was like, well, because I was already thinking about leaving.
Okay.
And so then I went to Edsel, and this part of the story, I know some people don't know, but it's fine. Because some people in the band probably don't know exactly how all this went down, but I was talking to him, and it was really, I was trying to keep it away from Nuke at the time. Like, we're on tour, and I would just go onto Edsel's bus and fucking talk to him about this shit. But I didn't want Nuke to know because I knew he'd flip out. And ultimately, he did flip out. But he was like, okay. I went to him after this because Edsel was like, okay, you don't want to do it. But then I went to him, I was like, well, I wanted to do another project. So I would love to work with you, you know, if you... And so he was like, okay, right on, you know, well, what are you looking at doing? And so then I kind of sent him some stuff, and we started talking, and So we were kind of visualizing, and he's like, well, I like cult stuff is kind of cool, and edgy, and we want to. So I was like, okay. So I'm bouncing around, and that's where Cultist Black came from. And, so I'm trying to work with him, but he was like really wanting me to distance myself from Motograder.
Yeah.
And have this new project that's completely separate from that. So he wanted me to not even. He's like, maybe even change your name, like have a different name.
Okay.
So that you're, yeah, and Edsel had a big thing to do with it. He's really pushing me towards these things, and so I'm kind of soaking it in because Edsel's a fucking smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot in the music business, so I'm like, I'm gonna listen to him, and that's one thing that I consider a strong suit for myself is I know my weaknesses. I don't know the music business that well, and so I want to have people involved that can help drive me the right direction. So I'm trying to listen to him, but ultimately and I'm still not going to, like, this podcast I think is fine because, like you said, it's not, if I post it on my page and stuff, there's going to be people across the country and stuff that are going to see it and possibly listen to it. But these are all going to be people that know me pretty well already anyways, are really familiar with Motograder. But as far as like going on like something national and talking about Motograder, I probably won't do that. I'm probably going to try to distance it, But as far as little stuff like this, people that really want to fucking know that are going to dig are going to find it out anyways. I think it's fine, and this is where we're at.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this
as
whole
far
thing is just like, because the whole point of this podcast is to like your history, your past, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean.
So, but I long or short is, I'm not gonna be up like put the moto shit on front stage. I'm not gonna talk about it all the time. I'm not gonna put it out there necessarily. Beyond local stuff and people that really know the band and already know that I was involved, and they're not, if I start a new project, they're not going to suddenly fucking forget, but new fans and stuff that I'm trying to bring into, I'm not going to push it. So that's kind of where I've landed on that. I'm not going to try to be like super fucking clandestine about it because it's just not going to fucking work. And I'm fucking antsy too. Like I'm so ready to do something, and talk about this fucking project, because
How long has it been since you've like played? Since you've been out?
It was the last show I did with Motograder. It was the last show that I played.
Like a year and a half?
Not that long, I don't think. Wait, has it been that long?
I
mean, you did some research on it.
I don't know. Well, I don't. I'm not claiming to be good. I'm not a journalist. Let's just say that.
All right. Well, it has been about a year. It has been about a year, and I'm trying to remember what. I do remember the last show. The last. Yeah. Well, the last. No, it was kind of a thing. Because. Yeah, it was a thing. The last show was in Texas, at what is that? What's the place in Texas? Fucking Trees in Texas, which is kind of a famous venue. There's a thing like I guess.
Where's it at in Texas?
Kurt, where is it? It's I don't remember.
Okay.
Texas.
We can look it up.
But there's a thing about like Nirvana played there, and Kurt Cobain like hit somebody in the head with a guitar, and there's like I guess there's video of it or something.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah, it's one of the things. It's like a kind of a legendary history of the venue or whatever. But it's called Trees because it's got like the columns in there are trees, But it's a really nice venue. It's very, very clean, very well kept venue, It's got good sound.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. It is Dallas. See, I wanted to say Dallas, but I was also like, I was thinking something else. But it's Dallas. So I don't have any interest in burning bridges and causing a big mess. I'm gonna quietly leave. And I'm going to go do something else. And, we can all be cool and, it is what it is.
I mean, who really benefits from it?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody benefits from that.
Think long-term.
Yeah.
Little long-term thought.
And it's easy to get caught up in, like, the bad shit and the emotions and to turn to that kind of dark place and be like, fuck them, and really attack and try to take them down, kind of like this band, who are you without me? And, you've taken advantage of me and, those sort of things. But at the end of the day, like you said, it doesn't help anybody, and I mean, you may get your shots in and hurt them some, but you're hurting yourself in the process, because if you do shit like that, then
you're going to lose. Because, if you go out on a good note, too. I feel like if you go out on a good note, trying to make things
cool, copacetic,
you can still, people that are going to support Motograder or whatever
will still
previous
support
project,
you, yeah.
They will still support you. And that band has no reason to not support you.
Yeah.
They might be upset, they might be hurt,
but that goes away with time.
but that goes away
Yeah.
because they can take a step back
and be like,
when
okay,
you step out of the
objectively,
emotions of
yeah.
it, you're like, you realize no, that's what's best for him. I
Yeah.
want what's best for him. We will figure out what's going to work for us.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the first time they've lost a member.
No, not at all. They lost many a member.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I've evened this out. The talk about Motograder pretty good, right? Some good, some bad.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because I'm not trying to dump on them.
No, I don't think you said anything really that negative.
Yeah. They're, like I said, it's kind of a best and worst, and I owe them a lot, just for giving me, a virtual unknown, a chance to be in a band that is well known and to get my name out there, because it's done a lot for me for making connections. I never would have met Edsel Dope if it wouldn't been for them. I never would have met Aaron from Gemini Syndrome. I never would have met a lot of these dudes, And actually, since we're, he's popular, but I did meet, Ivan Moody. I did meet Ivan Moody.
Oh,
he came out to one of our shows in LA, actually, while we're talking about people I would have never met had it not been for Moto. It was a surprise. We did not know he was going to be there. And Nuke actually hadn't seen him in years, because they had a bad breakup.
Yeah.
I didn't see him or anything while we were performing. I didn't know he was there. No, I learned afterwards, yeah. I went up there and did my thing, and then I got off stage, and our merch girl ran up, and she was like, Ivan Moody's here, and ran past me, and I was like, did she, what?
Go to our merch table.
Yeah, right. We
have to go there now.
Yeah. And so I was like, then I went to the merch table.
Yeah, you got to sell.
Yeah.
You got to sell a product.
And we were signing autographs and stuff, and I'm looking around like, is he here? Where is he? And this was at the Whiskey A Go Go
in California.
Yeah, in LA.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool venue, legendary.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, I'm looking around like, where's he at? And then I think I ran into somebody else that said that he was there, and so I went upstairs and kind of was getting my shit, putting my mic up and stuff, and I came back and I'm looking around. I'm still in paint, and he walks right up to me, he was just like, and and I'm like, hey man, what's up, Ivan? And he's like, yeah, what's up, James? And I'm like,
no.
Okay.
No, bro.
And
no, how do you know my name?
yeah,
Whoa.
just the fact that he knows my fucking name is okay. He was like, you killed it tonight, man. And I'm like, thank you. And he's like, I really like the last song. I couldn't have written a better melody myself. And he was like, and you really do the old stuff justice. And I was like, thank you. And he's like, why don't you get that shit cleaned off and come have a beer with me? And I was like, all right, because I was still in paint.
Yeah.
But my fucking bandmates, we form a line to fucking get washed off, because you have to have a sink or shower or whatever is fucking around. So it took me too long to get cleaned off. By the time I got cleaned off, he was gone. But what I didn't know is he was outside, because you have to load all the gear outside at the Whiskey, out the side door, which is kind of on fucking Hollywood Boulevard, right up front. But he walked outside and was talking to all the guys outside, and they took a picture of him talking to him. And I wasn't fucking there. I was upstairs because I didn't know where the fuck he was. And I was I was at merch and then upstairs. And I was all over the place, anywhere that he wasn't, I guess. But at least I did get the meeting for the one moment, and it means a lot to me. I'm not necessarily a big Five Finger Death Punch fan, but the fucking dude has made it. Yeah, you know, you can't deny his success. And he's talented. He can fucking sing. He's got good melodies, you know. So, I don't know. And the fact that I was filling his shoes, so to speak, you know, and all the interviews that I did with Moto, I always said I wasn't trying to fill Ivan Moody's shoes in the sense that I wasn't trying to be Ivan Moody. I was doing my own thing, like we mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. So, you know, in that respect. But at the end of the day, I was in the band that he was in, you know, and I did it well, you know, and I did it justice, and I lived up to that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a big deal to have that guy come up to me and say, good job, you know. I think just getting recognition from, and be considered a peer, you know, with people on that caliber is a big fucking deal,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, that is a, you know, that's a world tour band.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
a whole nother level.
it is.
So.
Five Finger is really as big as it fucking gets
Yeah.
right now, you know. And actually, a little bit later on, we went and saw him performing at a fucking big arena because he was playing at a huge arena right across the street from the venue we were playing at. And Dink, who is like he was like his bodyguard, but also he was tour managing for our tour. Obviously, he wasn't bodyguarding for him at the time. Whatever.
Yeah.
He switched up working with Dope and working with Five Finger in different bands. He was like, I can get you guys passes backstage if you want to go. So we went and stood side stage and watched them perform. And that was an experience. Because I'm just like watching this huge fucking production. And I'm like, man, you know, this is what I want to do. You know, like this is where I should be. And knowing kind of just that he was in my foot, you know, he was where I am, and I'm like, I can fucking do this, you know, like I can do this. It's huge fucking crowd, you know. I don't know how many people seat there, you know, but it's probably 15,000 or 20 or something, you know. And it's you look out to see a crowd, you know.
It's just one show for him.
Yeah,
It's just one
it's
place,
just one show. And like during it was kind of cool because he came over and acknowledged me and Nuke, you know, and was like, you know, what's up? And, you know, not like fangirling or anything, but just, it's just really fucking cool, you know, to be able to be on the other side of the curtain, you know, because that's kind of what you want, you know, like you're in your fucking garage, you know, playing and, you know, you're fucking, yeah, you're dreaming about getting on the other side of this fucking curtain of, you know, well, this is, you fucking made it, you know, so to speak. Of course, I'm still broke as shit, and I still live in a fucking apartment right down the street, you know. I'm literally a quarter of a mile from you, by the way.
Which is
that's awesome.
awesome, bro.
Yeah, I'm right down the fucking street. I was like, he's near state, he's got to be close to me, but like when I looked at my GPS, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm 3 minutes away.
I just did one with Marcus.
Yeah.
Marcus Carter, he's in Fear the Indifference and Our Savior Remains. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Fear the Indifference I have.
Yeah. I just did one with him. He lives, like, I'm not going to say where, but that away.
Okay.
Near the interstate.
Yeah.
Like, just 5 minutes
A rock
away.
throw. Everybody's like a rock throw. apparently.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's awesome.
It's pretty nice.
Now we can
Yeah.
find people.
Yeah, right. No, it's funny. And you say pretty close. The music industry itself is such a tight-knit community.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And, you know, on a local level, it is.
Yeah.
But on a national level, it is too. Like, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
You know, once you kind of get your foot in the door, you're
kinda
kind of
like
in
that.
there, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and I learned that quick touring with Moto, you know. Because, you know, like I said, I met Ivan, Chris Kale, the bassist from Five Finger.
Okay. Yeah.
Not every show that we would play in Vegas, but just about every show, Chris Kale and Aaron from Gemini Syndrome and Five Finger would come see us.
That's so cool.
And actually, Aaron would get on stage and do Down with me. Like,
That is so
we,
cool, yeah.
we've done that several times.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's just, you know, and Aru from Machine Head and El Nino. And it's just, I don't know, it's weird, you know, that everybody knows everybody. You know, I got there was a dude that I met when I was in the breathing process, and he did our music video, the first music video. I did a couple with the breathing process. First music video I did ever was with them, and this guy did it, and he did it just kind of for exposure. And his name's Shandan, and he then went on to be Shandan, yeah, Shandan Horan.
Okay.
But he did that just for exposure, and of course, I stayed in touch with him, and over the years he's grown. And he actually, are you familiar with Artery Group?
Sounds
Label
Yeah.
based out in,
Yeah.
I think they're in Cali,
Okay.
but I can't remember who else on there. But it's a big company. He was the president of Artery.
Yeah.
He was working for Century Media. Like he's worked with a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually before all this, he worked on Barack Obama's campaign because he has a master's in whatever it is. It's like marketing, communication, whatever. And he worked for them on that and a few other things. But then he's like, he loves music, so he wanted to get in the music business. So during this period of time is when he did our video and stuff, and he's trying to climb the ladder, and he's slowly but surely, he's president, and he was president of another label, Outer Loop, and different stuff. He's actually got a series that he's starting called, is it Musician Rescue, I think? A TV series.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
No, I saw this. They're doing like 10 or 11 bands, like unsigned bands,
Yeah.
and bringing them in studio, showing them like actually working with a producer and like showing them the marketing, like
Yeah.
the promotional side, and just like really hammering down and trying to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
If that's the same thing, it's
I'm pretty
Shandan.
sure it is such a cool idea.
Yeah.
I love it. Love
Yeah.
the idea.
Yep, that's him. He's great. I've tried to stay in contact with him throughout the years.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
He's
that
super
alone,
busy,
like-
so it's hard to really get him
Yeah.
on the phone. But I actually talked to him recently on the phone, and we were kind of I'm bouncing ideas off him and stuff. It's like I said, like I really try to, these people that I know better than me,
Yeah.
I try to listen to those people,
Because that guy, I mean, I couldn't tell you personally. Maybe you could. He seems like he really cares.
He does.
He seems like he really wants the best.
He does.
So-
And I mean, like I said, he's been in the business world outside of music, and he could have done that and made a lot of money, but he would rather do music.
shows, yeah.
He'd rather do music, So, and he wants to help people, That's just why he's doing that, So, yeah, he's a super good dude. He's another one of the good ones. Fuck, I don't even know where we were just talking about how everything's so
Yeah, it's
closely
just
knit.
close knit.
yeah. Everybody knows everybody.
I feel like also part of that is no one else, like so few people actually know what you're really going through in
Yeah.
the process, because it's such an extreme outer edge
yeah, it's
level of society.
yeah, it is. It's
Who
it's an alternate lifestyle.
How many people know what it's like to be sleeping in murder houses?
Yeah,
vans.
no,
Or just it's something you bond over.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people just they don't get touring at all. They don't understand.
No.
At all. Like even actually my girlfriend, the first, I think it was the first tour. She wanted, and I had invited her. I was like, come out for a little bit. I was like, it's going to be rough. It was a week. And I was like, but I want to see you, and she wanted to see me. So she did. She was with us for a week, and she was miserable. She hated it.
Yeah.
And but up front, she was like posting. She was like, "I'm gonna have a vacation." And I was like, "It's not much of a vacation."
It's work.
And she was just kind of there, but just the conditions she could not stand. She hated it. She was like, "I'll never do that again." And I was like, "Fair enough." I'd love to see her at a show or whatever, because of course I'll miss her while I'm on the road. But as far as actually going on the road,
Yeah. It's a lot. And if it's not, especially if you're just like, if you're not into the music.
Yeah.
If you're not into that side,
If it's
of
not,
it,
yeah.
it's
If you don't love it,
hell.
if you don't love it, then you and it takes a certain personality for sure. Like I'm definitely the type that I like to sit down and eat, like, you know, with a table, and like I like to sleep in a bed, you know. But and that's some people I've talked to about it too. That when I kind of tell them the circumstances and how they're like, "What the fuck are you doing that for?" You know, you're not getting any money. You know, you're sleeping in the fucking street, basically. You're not, you know, like, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like, well, A, it's a love for music and a love for performing, but then B, I have a goal, you know, and I'm willing to suffer to reach that goal, you know.
Yeah. You sacrifice
And-
the present
yeah.
for the future.
Yeah,
Future gain.
and you know, some people don't get that. Yeah.
It's also, I mean, yeah, no, what you were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this
Yeah.
for yourself?
Yeah.
Like, there's no money. You're not. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no money now, but like,
You hope that you will eventually
yeah,
make some money.
You're not doing it for. Plus, what the fuck else am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, what am I
I don't know what-
supposed to sit at a computer and work a job?
I can't
for,
do it.
No,
I
I
can't.
Like,
I've
do it-
tried.
I do it now. I work in front of a computer. I
Hate it.
like my job. I hate being in front of a computer.
Yeah.
You see me bet. You see
Yeah, I
me
hear
bet
him
a lot.
snickering back there. Yeah, I've done. I did I did a tech job for a minute. Apple tech support.
That was hell.
It was hell.
Why does my fucking computer work? Why is my iPhone Wi-Fi not working?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Why is my Wi-Fi gray, not blue?
Yeah, I did it for about 8 months,
Yeah.
and I quit. I just never went back. I didn't call them. I just stopped going. 'Cause I could not do it anymore.
Did you work at the store, or was it like at a...
No, it was at a call center.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
And
The phone is even worse.
it is. It's
It's
bad.
terrible. Yeah.
It's really bad. Like I had one of my stories that I really like. I spent 45 minutes on the phone with a lady. Well, this is when you actually had the real home button on your phone, you know,
Oh, yeah,
like the little
yeah.
circular. 45 minutes trying to tell her where that button was on her phone, so that I could get her to do that fucking button, so I could get her to do like a hard reset.
Oh,
Just-
Yeah.
you hold power in that
Yeah.
button now. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
At 45 minutes. How many ways can you explain that?
For me,
Okay.
it's gotta be one.
Okay. At the bottom of the phone, there is the only button. There's only one.
Circle
I
or
get-
ring.
Dude,
right
yeah,
here.
I was like, okay. I was like, if you look at the bottom of your phone, there's a circular button. I'm going to push that and the button on the side and hold them together simultaneously until your screen goes black and, you know, whatever. And she's like, oh, I don't see a button. I'm like, no, it's at the bottom of your phone. And she was like, no, I don't see anything. I was like, a circular button. It's not like, I was like, maybe you're thinking of a button like on a
key.
remote.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like it's kind of an indented surface that's a
You can
circle.
Feel it?
If you run your finger over it, you'll feel it, and I just need you to push that. That is a button. And she was like, I don't see anything like that, you know. And so I'm going on, and then eventually I realized she's like bottom of the phone. She's like down here.
Oh gosh.
So I'm like, well, on the surface of your device towards the bottom. And so she's doing that, and she still can't find it. So then I'm like, well, what do you feel? So she's running her finger around the sides of it, is what she's doing. And I'm like, the fucking front! The front of it! And
Oh my gosh.
eventually I got her to do it, but talk about pulling your hair out. Like, I was ready to strangle this woman. And
Did you guys ever? I don't know if you could do this. I worked in a call center. We would do switches on people.
how do you mean?
Like, I would answer the phone call, and I'd be like, after like 10 minutes or 5 or maybe 30 seconds, I'd be like, can you hold for a second? Put them on hold, someone else would hop on. I'm like, I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
Occasionally
Nah.
I would switch. Occasionally I would switch with a girl. Instead of go
yeah.
from my voice to a girl's voice, wouldn't miss a beat, just go right into it. They wouldn't say a thing.
That's hilarious.
No one would say anything. They
That's
would just
really
keep going.
Yeah, I wasn't fortunate enough with that. With us, we had to stay online. We could escalate the call, but you know, you had to get to a certain point, you know, to escalate. And unfortunately, I think not being able to find a fucking button on the phone didn't. It was. There was another lady that I was trying to remote into her. We're getting off the subject of music.
Yeah.
But I was trying to remote to her computer, which I didn't really deal with computers, but I was just trying to hook her phone up to her computer to do. Yeah. And so I was having a hell of a time getting into her shit. She was old. But when I finally got into it, she had fucking Windows 95 on her computer.
How does that even work? How is that even possible?
Good question. And I saw it and I was like, all right, I'm going to escalate you.
Brian!
Nope.
Brian!
Bye.
Yeah. I was like, I'm done here because wow, you know.
Put iTunes on Windows 95.
All right, let's get back at it. So left Moto Grader, got Coldest Black going. Where
Yep.
are we at with that?
Well, we're writing an album. We have not played a show or done anything really. You know, like I said, we've been kind of sitting on it and really haven't even posted much about it. I made a Facebook page.
I saw a
Yeah.
teaser, right?
Yeah, I
Is
did
it
have
personal?
I did have one teaser on there. But that's just kind of a product of me being antsy, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah, we just haven't really pushed anything, you know. We just kind of put it up, and I've kind of I mentioned, you know, that we did a thing, and some people are getting interested just because of Moto Grader, you know. But we really haven't pushed it at all. We haven't put anything behind it other than just sitting here writing. The thing with Edsel, he's been kind of MIA for a bit, and he was supposed to help me find build a production team
Yeah.
for the album. And he told me, you know, if you wanted to move forward without me at this point, then I understand, but you know, hopefully we can hook back up at a later date. So I'm still kind of working with him, but I'm starting to build the team myself because I don't want to sit around, you know.
Who, like, I don't know how to ask this without sounding stupid. Who all is making up this production team?
Not a
Like,
hundred.
I don't need names specifically.
Well, I
just
mean, I
like-
can give you some names.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's
I'm
definitely-
not 100% on it yet.
Yeah.
You know,
Who all are you looking for?
nothing's been signed. You know, we're talking to figuring out. I am definitely going to LA the second week in April to do a single. That is for sure happening. I got my flight booked and everything.
Yeah.
But that is with a dude named Sahaj, which I wasn't familiar with him, but apparently he's doing some things because Edsel actually suggested him, and there was a couple of other people in the industry that I've heard mention him. But are you guys familiar with Starset, the band Starset? Yeah, okay. He's worked with Starset and the new Motley Crue documentary that came out.
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet.
He had something to do with some of the music on that.
Okay.
You know, I'm not sure what his hand is in it, but I know he had something to do with it. But he's done some things. He was in a band back in the day that I guess had some single success. I'm kicking your mic. That probably gonna. But so I'm going out for him, and we're trying to come up with a single. We're trying to really define what
Are you
the sound is going to be for the
writing,
band.
like
We're-
going out there and writing,
we're-
or taking some of the stuff that you've got.
We're taking stuff there, but
Right.
also he's helping craft
Yeah.
and write
Because you don't
something.
know your sound yet.
Yeah, we have an idea. You know, we
Yeah.
have songs, but we really need to kind of really define like what we're going to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm being pulled in several different directions. I've got one side that's like, you know, let's go to radio. You know, we should be on the Billboard charts again. Because, by the way, Moto Grader with me, we had a song Dorian that was number 16 on the Billboard
Mhm.
charts, which was fucking great.
Was that one of the music videos?
It was
Is it-
Dorian.
yeah,
Yeah, it was in the
sounds really
prison, which
familiar.
that's another story which we kind of skipped over, but we can get back to. I was on the Billboard charts with Dorian, number 16, which was up there with like Metallica, Five Finger Death Punch, Breaking Benjamin. I was like, this is great, you know.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm a fucking charting artist now. But so on one side, I got people that are like, you need to do that again. I'm like, I agree, I would love to do that again. So that would mean us kind of having definitely some radio friendly aspects to it. Then the other side is like, you should go fucking gritty underground and fucking start a movement sort of deal. Basically, it's like kind of like what Slipknot did, and that was kind of the original goal. Was we were going to hit Warped Tour, but now Warped Tour is no more.
Good luck.
You know, so that's
we
not.
Still got 3 dates.
Yeah, but that was the original plan. So that tells you how long ago we started planning this.
Yeah.
So it was going to be kind of a really heavy, in your face underground thing, but I always wanted to have melodic, catchy aspects to it because I love clean vocals, and you know, so I wanted to kind of meld the two. But this is all just to say that we haven't decided exactly what our sound is going to be. You know, we're being pulled in different directions, and at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the studio, and like what ends up coming out of the studio, that's what we're going to fucking sound like. But we have some fucking pretty good songs, I think. Some of them are heavier than others.
I may have heard one.
Oh yeah.
I may have.
Okay, so you know, we got some that's
It's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Did you hear one that was more singing or more screaming?
I want to say scream.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. We got real. We
You were
got
fucked
real
up.
drunk.
You were turned.
I don't remember like. He
was
remembers more than I do.
It was one with the more screaming.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It was
I
good.
Yeah. Okay.
I like your singing.
Yeah.
And I know that from the song with Edward.
Yeah.
Which, how did that come about?
Well, I mean, you know, I was fucking farming for musicians.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just
because
gonna say farming. I was like, hell yeah.
I was just out in the fucking field with a hoe, and
Join the club.
fucking Edward walks up and he said, "Let's do some tunes." No, I was looking for musicians. Like I said, I was particularly looking for local guys because I didn't want to have to fly everybody all over the fucking country.
Yeah.
So initially I was talking to him about maybe working with Cultus Black, and in the long run he has helped us, and he's still working with us to a degree. But that's the thing with this project. I'm kind of taking the way I look at it is anybody who wants to fucking be involved, if they can bring something that's helpful, that is creative, and that's good, I'm fucking all ears, you know. Like I feel like in a lot of ways it's the traditional, like you have a band and these are your members and that's it. It's kind of outdated at this point because
you need a team.
and band members change, come and go so much, and when you're touring and stuff, it's so hard. You know, like even with Dope, like he has different guys on tour with him all the time. You know, and with Motograder, we were trying to have like a single band, but it was a rotating door. And, you know, if you can get a team of guys that stays and sticks with it and does everything, then great. But, you know, I want to be more open than that, you know. So any ideas that come, and, you know, and Wade and everybody, we've all been working with Wyatt. You know, like I said, Wyatt was a precursor to this. So we have some tunes in the mix that are guitars that he wrote and stuff, you know. So we're just taking shit from everywhere. Of course, credit people and, you know, everybody knows what's up. Like, we're not trying to steal anything like some people that I know, which that's something I'm so tempted to talk shit about, but I'm not going to because there may be some.
With me and another band.
Oh, really?
That's
See,
happened.
I've got
Pisses you off.
no, I've got some of that going on.
Really?
And here's the thing: if they would be cool and just be like, "Hey, man, you know, we got a situation here, and you know, would you mind if we use your stuff?" and I would be fine with it. You know, that's cool.
Like, I don't even want this.
I didn't get
it's not
no
even,
questions asked. They just fucking did it anyway.
That's what they're doing to me. And like, no, man, that's not fucking cool. Like,
recorded it, mastered it, put it on their own CD, same song title, everything. Never fucking asked.
see, you can fight it, but it's
End up wanting to fight it.
you can't. It costs you so much fucking money to try to fight it. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a story too, but it's very dicey. Though we can't talk about that.
Someone's house may be burned. out later tonight.
Nah,
Please
nothing
no.
like that.
Please no.
Nothing like that, but it's not something to address really. Yeah. So, anyways, just saying, Edward has been working with us. He's been helping us like track like, stuff that, because Wade is super busy, and we were kind of been crunch time because I've been wanting to fucking get songs written as quickly as possible. So I've got Scott, and Scott doesn't have a way to record, and so we've just been going over to, and I don't really either. I can like track some demo vocals, like just basic, but I can't track a guitar. My computer can't fucking do it. It's latency and it's a mess. So we have been going over to Ed's here and there, and he's helping us out, which is super cool of him. And that's kind of like a trade-off too, like he said, he kind of approached me. He's like, hey, would you want to do a song? And I was like, absolutely, like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. It's, we're working together, and I want to help him in any way that I can. And if having my name on something can help in any way, then that's great. So it's just one of those things and I enjoy it. I like working with different people, and being creative. This is what we fucking do, right?
You get to and you get to do something that's
Different.
not you.
Yeah, it's different.
Not what you're thinking. It pushes you creatively. It
Yeah.
pushes you, yeah.
And it's different from what I have been doing. Like that song is totally different from Motor Grader. It's totally different from Coldest
Yeah.
Black. It's and I like that. And and I told him if he's got more shit that he wants me to sing on, I'll do that. He sent me one track, but he was like, it's not done. Don't even worry about trying to write anything for it yet. I was like, okay, he's a good guitarist. He's a good dude.
He's a great guy.
So
Great guy.
why wouldn't I work with him?
Yeah. It's all. I mean, it's all a team thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no money.
There is no money. There isn't any.
No money. There's no fame. There's no we're not getting anything out.
Yeah.
We're doing this because we love doing it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
So,
And it gets messy sometimes, but I really think that we all need to work together, and I think that's fucking important because we are, like we said earlier, a lot of people don't understand what the fuck we're doing. People on the outside of, we're the outsiders, man.
That's basically for like the both Carolina states, man.
Yeah.
There's no real brotherhood in this music scene, especially from living in South Carolina. Everybody's like, our band's way better than yours, and we don't want to do anything with you, or it's just like a big ego trip down there, man.
Yeah, that's lame. See, I'm all about healthy competition. That's fine, but it should not work with some. It should be like a friendly competition, because then you can better yourself.
Challenge. When you're challenging each other to get better, that's completely different.
If this was
trying to take
2008,
down.
it'd be a different story. Because 10 years ago, everybody wanted to help everybody in the Carolinas, and now it's just like we talk about certain conversations, keeps getting thinner and thinner, but then gradually it's trying to go back up.
Yeah.
But there's just
no, I feel you. I mean, I have been and I've been out of the local scene the whole time I was with Moto. I was removed basically because I was half the year I was on tour for all 3 or 4 years. How was I in the band? It was 15, 16, 17. I guess it was 3. Anyways, so I was on tour half the year. Huh?
How do I know this better than you?
Well,
Wikipedia.
it's the whole damn time I was in Moto is a blur. I was gone half the year every year, and so then when I'm home and I'm writing and I'm, and to be honest, I'm kind of a hermit. I'm pretty reclusive. If I'm left to my devices, I will just fucking sit at home, and write music, play video games, and hang out with my girlfriend, But I try to push myself to go out to shows and stuff because I realize that's very important, And, once I get out, I enjoy myself.
You have a great time.
It's just one of those things.
I correlate it to what you were just saying is exercising. Sometimes where I'm just fuck, I don't want to go.
Yeah,
work
but you
out.
feel great
The
afterwards.
second you get in the car, you get there, you're like, oh hell yeah, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that because I hate exercising, but I force myself to do it. I actually do P90X is what I do. But yeah, it's not that bad.
Not that bad.
No.
Have you looked at me? Jesus.
But yeah,
I don't know how bad my cardio is.
I've fallen off recently, but I was in better shape when I was touring with Moto, which I had inspiration because I was fucking shirtless every night. Yeah, that'll make you fucking work out. Fuck. What were we talking? We were talking about working with. But yeah, that's how it came about. That I worked with him was I had reached out to him, just as a musician and talking about possibly working with me on this project, and it didn't really work out. I ended up working with Wade, which is funny. So then he.
Did you know them before?
No.
Just met them.
I just
searching, or
I just searching fucking musicians.
That would have been Kiss the Curse would have just ended.
Yeah.
So they were probably looking.
Yeah.
Wade was looking going heavier.
Yeah.
So
I actually met Wade through Scott. I didn't hit up Wade. Scott was like, I know this guy, and he did that. But I did find Edward, and I know John and all those guys, Garrett, and I'm old school, so I know like dudes from back in the day because you were talking about like 2008 and shit. I guess it was like 2006 ish was when I was kind of running heavy in the local scene. 2004 to 2006, somewhere.
When did you start? What was your first project?
My first project was, my first project was a thing I did like in my bedroom, of course.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, like I was like 15 or something.
Okay.
And like I wrote an album in my bedroom with a fucking Casio keyboard and a Squier guitar and Fruity Loops, and and I like packaged it and drove it. Well, I don't remember if I had my license that time. Someone had driven me to like local stores, and we put it in there. It was god awful. It was fucking bad.
Can we find it?
I would be impressed if you could fucking find that, but it's real bad.
Anything.
What was it called?
Was hesitant to even say. Origin of Zero was what it was.
Origin of Zero.
Yeah, you can't find it. It's impossible. But I still have a copy of it, but I will never let anybody hear it. I've got it just for keepsake.
I get in a safe in the basement.
Yeah, right. It's fucking guarded by Rottweilers. Yeah, it was really, really bad. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But that was kind of how I started, and then I started another project that was also bad, but like I was kind of slowly growing. I actually brought in a guitarist to help me on that one, and it was heavier, and still didn't do anything. We did one show though. We did one show. Yeah, fuck yeah. And it's funny because you go through these like different goals, or at least for me, everything I've ever done has been super fucking difficult. And I don't know what that's all about, but like just doing a show, just getting to the point I could play a show was like such a big deal,
Like just the anxiety, or
no, just the chore of trying to make it happen.
Oh, it was
like
very difficult just to.
It was, yeah, because I had to,
play.
Putting the band together, getting the songs together, getting the band to play the songs, getting the band people to show up to practice, getting the show booked, and then making it to the show was just.
Plus, you're probably in high school at this point.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I mean.
What?
Yeah.
What year was
Anything.
this?
Huh?
What year was this?
I don't know what year it was, but I was in high
I'm
school.
trying to get a date. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to set a time frame.
Yeah, I really don't know though. I mean, it was early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
It was maybe. It may have been like 2000. Maybe it was somewhere around 2001. Somewhere.
How old are you?
I was still 8.
I'm old enough. I'm old enough. I'm eternal, motherfucker.
I'm like trying to figure out your age.
I'm
like,
eternal.
You can't be that old.
I'm eternal. Yeah, I really can't say. I think it was early 2000s, and so we did the first show, and then there was no more band after that. The whole band quit.
So it went pretty well.
Yeah, it went real well. Then what? Then I started again. I started writing another thing, and I Well, actually by this time I had started technical, like what community college. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to fucking what is it in Johnson County, JCC. Yeah, Johnson Community College. I was going out there and I met a bass player there, and I had kind of writing some shit or whatever, and I was really down on it. But he kind of pushed me. His name was Jeremiah. He kind of really pushed me to do it, you know. And he was like, "No, we can do something. We can do something. We can do something." Okay, all right, fucking whatever. And so like we started right, and that became the band Obsidian, which was like the first local band that I had that actually did something. And so I owe to him really that he pushed me to even do it, because I was, you know, I don't know, after you've tried a couple times and you get down and you're like, oh, fucking, I don't even care anymore. But he pushed me to do it, and we did it. And then I met Derek, who used to be the door guy at the brewery, the big dude. Anybody know Derek?
Was that the big black guy?
Not the black dude. He was the white dude. He had a beard. Derek Davis.
Where's he at?
Yeah, a little mohawk.
Do you know what he's doing now?
I don't know. He was at the brewery until the day it closed, but I don't know what he.
Oh, I'm terrible with names, by the way. So
yeah.
I don't know.
If I could remember,
I know people's
I
names.
should remember, because I used to go there a lot. Man.
He was always there. He worked the door. What was the black dude's name was?
I can't remember, but you know the super tall black guy that worked there?
Yeah.
It was like freaking security, like their only security guard. I can't remember
I don't
his name.
remember his
He
name.
was the nicest dude. Nicest dude up there.
I mean, everybody at the brewery was cool. You know.
Hell yeah.
I love the brewery. That was like our home. Like that's where we played all the time. But yeah, him, and which was handy because he worked the door, and he actually got that job while we were starting up the band.
Yeah.
And worked out because we could get on any show we wanted. So, but that band, we actually did release an album with that band. Just locally, you know. We didn't have a label or nothing, but it was my first album. Well, technically my second album, because the first one was the one I did in my bedroom. But that's not real. It was my first real album. And, you know, people dug it. You know, we had a following. We had a following such that we were able to pull out-of-state bands to come and play for our crowd, you know, which is cool. And in theory, we would trade with these bands, but
Real actuality.
they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Man, I can't tell you how many bands that we brought in to play for our crowd, and then they never returned the favor.
Yep.
That's shitty. You know, because if they had done it, we could have kept doing it, and everybody benefits. There you go. It goes back to the whole working together thing, right?
And it just doesn't.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Why wouldn't you? That's
Assholes.
it's not that. It's just they clearly don't see the benefit.
Maybe they don't get it.
I think it's just I wonder how much of it is like a long-term, like foresight.
Not having that.
Because that's what I look at like.
How's this
Okay,
going to help us in the
I know,
future?
it's
How are we
like-
going to build a crowd?
Like,
How are we
yeah.
Yeah.
I know it. Okay, we're gonna go play a show in wherever with these bands, but it's not about that. It's because we are getting to. Do you need to head out?
I'm good. I was just checking.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting in with these bands. I'm getting in with this promoter.
Yeah.
For future success. Yeah, and obviously you get to play those shows because no one else wanted to play,
Yeah.
or because not very many people are coming, and there's like, hey, we just want someone else
Yeah.
to play. I'm fine with that. I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole networking thing was lost on me for a long time because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm reclusive. Like I just that's just the way I am naturally. You know, and so I would not talk to promoters and stuff. Derek, the guy that worked the brewery, was kind of my guy that filled the shoes in Obsidian, and so he did all that. You know, and it wasn't until I kind of called that band off. Like I quit, and it kind of killed the band. And but after that, I was trying to build another project, and I really realized, like, wait a minute, I don't know fucking any promoters, you know. So that was when it's like a rude awakening. Like, holy shit! Like Derek, I let Derek do all this shit, and now he's got all the connections. I ain't got shit, you know. And that was another situation where it was kind of a bad breakup. You know, like me and him it was weird because it was like we were kind of friendly, but then we weren't. But then we were, but then we weren't. You know, there was a little bit of bad blood, but I haven't talked to him in a while. But like, of course, that was a long time ago. No bad blood now. But yeah, it was kind of a learning curve. You know, one of the things you learn by doing and not doing. And yeah, networking, I've found out, and that's why I've been able to do what I've been able to do is fucking networking. You know, it's talking to people. You know, if you don't talk to people, and Derek actually is the one that hooked me up with the breathing process in the long run, that got me touring. Mm-hmm. You know, which I'm grateful to him for that, because I had heard that they were looking for a singer, and then I'm like, well, who would know their number? Derek would know it because they played the brewery, you know, and I'm like, he's social, you know.
Yeah.
So I called him, like, hey man, do you happen to have this dude's number? And he's like, yeah, I got it. So it's like, you would be amazing if you would give it to him. So he did, and you know, props to him for being a good guy. Yeah. And you know, like I said, because it was one of those deals, like we were young, you know, and we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, and we had egos, and I definitely had a lot more of an ego when I was younger, which is funny because I wasn't doing as much. You know, I was just a local nobody. I had more of an ego than, you know, when I'm actually touring and doing shit. But it's one of those things when you're young, you're stupid. And so we clashed a lot, you know, because just egos and like who's in control of the band and, you know, that sort of stuff. Just silly stuff that, you know, in retrospect, you're like, that was dumb, you know, but that's you learn, you know.
Were you always singing? Like,
always singing?
You always been a singer? Like,
I was not always a clean vocalist. Well,
I just mean, like, were you singing as a kid? Like,
yeah, okay, I get you. Yeah, my grandmother was a singer and like in choir and like quartets and stuff, and she played piano, and she kind of tried to like get me to sing, and I actually would sing in church with her. She would play piano and I would sing like old fucking gospel hymns and stuff, you know? And that's how I started, which is kind of weird when you think about what I'm doing now. But it's funny.
It's very religious music.
Yeah.
It's very praised.
Very. Well, it's funny because you know, she's not with us anymore, but she would frequently, she'd be like, why don't you come back and sing for Jesus, you know? She did not like the direction that I ended up going in. But it's funny because, and we really have worked backwards with this whole thing. But
dude, this is how all my conversations.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
That's that's cool though. The best podcasts are just conversations.
Totally.
So. But we what the fuck am I saying? I was talking about how I started. So I started singing with my grandmother in church, and I have no idea what I sound like. I know there's tape, but I have not.
What you sounded like back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine I was terrible, you know, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I could sing then somehow strangely. I don't know.
Well, how old?
I'm like super young. Like I was a little kid, you know.
You're probably good then. You're probably, I mean, not like technique-wise.
Yeah.
But, because I think a lot of, what was I reading or listening to or something? It was like, if you introduce, like, if you can introduce intricate music to, like, kids, like babies and toddlers, that's when they'll develop a lot of their ability to recognize notes.
That's fair.
So, I mean, it's the same thing with, like, language and all that stuff. So if you introduce music to a child, it's a lot easier for them, and they'll be able to find those notes better. So, like, while you may not have been using great technique and belting and everything, but you were still probably on pitch, or at least close. Yeah.
I need to go find some of those tapes. I'm interested now. I haven't really thought about it. But, yeah, we did that. Well, the funny thing is, I did that up until the point where I became self-aware. So the point where I was like, okay, what is religion? And, you know, I started thinking for myself. And so then when I started kind of thinking for myself, I stopped going to church.
All right.
And I stopped singing, completely stopped singing for a number of years, you know. And it wasn't until high school that I started again. And it's funny because I started singing again and trying to form a band, and that's why I wrote that album, really, the one I talked about, the Origin of Zero thing, was basically...
It should have been Origin of Hero.
Origin of Hero?
Oh, it should have been. Come on.
I missed the boat on that one. But it was because, I was in high school and kind of trying to find my place. Well, when I was younger, I was a nerd and I got picked on, like in grade school and shit. Well, then I started listening to like Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson and like this sort of stuff, and so I started kind of like wearing all black and band T-shirts and shit.
You really started getting picked on.
No, actually, it kind of changed a little bit. Like the way people were talking to me changed a bit. It's like I wasn't like the super nerdy kid anymore. Like now, I'm kind of weird. Because I was in fucking Rebel City, North Carolina, and nobody listened to metal or rock or anything like that, really. It was very vanilla, Mm-hmm. So, I noticed people were kind of treating me a little bit differently. And so I turned it up, I got real weird. And so then people were afraid of me. And so then I'm like, oh, this is cool, I like this, now I have power, And so I had some friends that were like, that considered themselves freaks,
Yeah.
And they were like, always talking about starting a band, and they were going to do a band. And so at one point, one of them did have like a little band, and they would have band practice and stuff. And I was jealous of that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why I can do that, And but I was like, I can't sing though, I can't sing. And but then it's funny, because I'm a very self-deprecating, I guess. I have a kind of a negative sensibility, I try to be positive, but I tend to focus on negative things, and so anyways, the way I started, it speaks to my personality, because the way I looked at it, whenever I'm like, well, can I do this? I want to do this. Can I do this? I was like, well, I don't have a band. Well, Trent Reznor doesn't really have a band. He does everything himself, and Nine Inch Nails. And I can't sing. Well, neither can Kurt Cobain. So I can do this. Like, that was my thought process.
No joke. I have, like, found myself searching for artists that I'm like, I like their music.
Yeah.
And I'll search for, like, live videos and, like, oh, they're not as good. They're not as good as I thought they were.
I can do this.
It makes me feel
Yeah.
like, okay, I can at least get to that level.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to be as good as they are on record, but I can get to as bad, they're worse.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, that's in line with what I was thinking. And so, and it's kind of funny, though, because like I said, I was singing when I was a kid, but I fell off and totally forgot about it and didn't revisit it for several years. And then when I was in high school, and then I was like, I need, but to me, I'm like, I can't sing, And so, but then I did that, and it was really bad, that we covered already. But yeah, I have been singing technically with some time off in between since I was a little kid, But it wasn't until I never took lessons until way later. It was when I was in the breathing process doing the EP for Dead Form that never happened. I started taking vocal lessons because I went to Eyal's studio and he ripped me a new one. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to buckle down and like fucking take lessons. What, being in the studio with him?
Well, just like of singing. What was like
hardest part of singing?
Yeah, I feel like there's.
Not scooping a note.
What do you mean?
Like, like hearing the note and nailing it. Not sliding up to it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Like, or anything like that. That's why Eyal was busting me on hard. He's like, you're scooping the note. Just fucking hit the note. I'm like, all right, okay.
Because clearly you can hit it, but you have to like find it first.
Yeah, and so that was my big thing. I had never trained my voice, and I don't have perfect pitch. I'm not a guy that I'm a lot better now. Like I can definitely hear a note and be like, okay, I think that's like a C, or and I can definitely hit it, and I can. So sometimes I can actually name the note, but I've really tried to train my ear, so that I can get better. I've fallen off here recently. I need to get back on it. But because you've always got to be practicing and training and to try to get better. But yeah, that was the hardest thing for me, was just not scooping notes. I was bad for doing that, and he really was the one that fucking pointed that. Yeah, he pointed that out. But I will say also, though, that whenever I joined Moto, he was one of the first people that messaged me and was like, "Hey, congratulations!"
Yeah.
So and doing what he's doing now, his podcast and everything is geared around helping people like with recording and stuff. So I guess he has that mind state, trying to. So to him, he was glad that the hell that we went through in the studio ended up turning into me turning it around and being better. Mm-hmm. Some people would say, you can fucking sing, like I don't know what the hell he was talking about or whatever, but it's a difference, like yeah, when you can kind of pull something off, but then like really nailing it it's different. So but that was another learning experience. I was not prepared to be in the studio with that guy. Mm-hmm. And I had been in some nice studios, but it was like with my friends, like Sid was kind of a friend that I had known, and he's gone on to do big things, but he was a really cool, easy to get along with guy. That was my friend, and we were just tracking demos together. It wasn't like going to the studio with like a dude that has tracked a lot of national signed bands and like has a certain degree of expertise that he expects that you'd bring to the table already, and his personality.
Makes things easier when you get along.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot easier.
No, absolutely. Yeah, there's some guys, that I've worked with that are difficult and some are super easy. Like John Barrier is great. He's super easy to get along with, and, I like that. It's good to have a good bedside manner as a producer.
It makes things a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Oh, we way long time ago we were talking about who we were going to have involved with the album.
Oh yeah.
With the Cultist Black.
Shit, yeah.
The Cultist Black album. We got way off course.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Dave Fortman. I think that's how you say his name. But he did the Slipknot, one of the Slipknot albums. Which one was it? What's the name of that album? All Hope Is Lost, or what? Their fourth album.
Yeah.
And he's done Evanescence and Mudvayne and a bunch of bands.
So he's done a few.
Yeah. I gotta look it up now because I can't remember All Hope Is Gone. There you go. It was that album with Psychosocial and all that. Mm-hmm. But it was their fourth album. Their first album was my favorite because it's super raw.
Is that Iowa?
Iowa's their second one.
Second, okay.
That was arguably their heaviest one, but the first one was just super raw and it was good. But either way, he's fucking recorded Slipknot, Mudvayne, and Evanescence, and several other bands. So he obviously knows what he's doing. So we're talking to him, and again, Mike that was our manager. He's the connection to Dave, and he's a guitarist. He was in Snot and Soulfly, and he is going to be involved. He'll be involved with production, and Dave. And I want John Barrier involved because he's like my guy, and I've been shoving him down their throat.
Plus, that's gotta be so nice for him. So cool for him.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
I mean, for all the work that he's doing.
Yeah.
Right now, like.
Yeah.
And has done.
Yeah. No, and he's helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
To
get that opportunity to work with
these guys. Yeah. And he worked, like I said, he worked on the Moto album, which he was a Machine Head fan, and Aru was a Machine Head, so it was cool for him to be able to work with Aru, and I guess that's turned into some work with some other nationals, through Aru. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my hope, is that because he's done, work for free for me and stuff, for trade, because, so I'm hoping that me helping him get into this national scene and work with other big name producers and stuff is my way of paying him back some. So hopefully that'll work out. But I mentioned to him, and I haven't actually told him this yet. But
hopefully he's listening.
But I told him that I want him involved with the album, and he was like, yeah, he's down. So, but you might have a contract coming your way, John, here pretty soon.
Just saying. Found out on the Broccoli and Breakdowns podcast.
Yes. But we're not sure. It's not 100%. We're gonna go with him, but it's that's what it's looking like right now. So, so there's there's another dude that they were talking about using that worked with Nine Inch Nails, which is great for me because I'm a huge fucking Nine Inch Nails fan. Like, old school Nine Inch Nails is my shit. So like, I'd fangirl over that. Like, anybody had anything to do with Nine Inch Nails, I'm all about. So I hope that works out. But he's apparently in that group. Like, they've been working on stuff together, so it's not going to be free, I can tell you that. But luckily enough,
sadly,
luckily enough, we have the means to make it happen, I think.
So how so you kind of have a manager? Kinda?
Yeah, it's one of those things. We don't have anybody with official titles at this point. I have friends, that are helping us, and
how important has that been?
Extremely important. Yeah, it goes back to networking, and like I said, what the fuck would I do if I didn't have these people? It's all these people that I can go to with questions and can help connect me with people that I need to fucking be connected with, And none of these people necessarily have a real title right now attached to the project, but they're all involved, and they're all helping me, and I can only hope that they're getting some sort of something out of it, that in the long run that I can fucking flip it around and I can do them some favors, But this is kind of a business of favors, because like you said, there's no money, you have to get to a certain point before there's really any money. And few bands get there.
And you're all banking. You're basically putting your eggs into this basket for
hoping
future.
Yeah.
Hoping for future.
But I'm going to tell you, I know, like, call me crazy, but I know that we can recoup. Like, I know we can. There's no question in my mind. With the people that we have behind it, and the music, and we will recoup the money. Like. I don't know how far we'll go beyond that. There's all kinds of situations, but I think we'll be fine. Like, I don't think we'll have any problem recouping the money and getting people paid off. And that's one thing that I'm a real stickler for too. Is I want to make sure that anything we do, that we have the means to fucking pay it off, because I've been involved with situations where people don't get paid back, and I think that's fucked up. And that sucks, Of course, there are situations where you can't help it. You tried your best, and it just didn't work out, and you can't pay them back, and it's an investment, and is what it is. But to me, I've seen people when they could have paid back debt and they didn't do it.
Just didn't do it.
And that is not cool, and that burns bridges, and then. Next time you need something, guess what? You're not going to get it, and it's a cyclical thing. And so, if I didn't think that we were going to be able to make money back from doing this, then I would go a different route. I would just I would use somebody else. I would use something that I felt like we could recoup. So I'm trying to be as smart as I fucking possibly can be about this, and trying to plot everything out and be strategic. I think it's gonna work.
Strategic as you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta take a risk too.
Yeah, like you said. Yeah, you do. But I think this is a calculated risk, and I think it will pay off. But that being said, we don't know for sure if we are going with him. If it's somebody else, it's got to be somebody. In my mind, it's got to be somebody that's on that caliber. If it's depending on style or where they are or whatever, but it's got to be somebody on the fucking level, you know, because a producer's name attached to a product, in my opinion, can really help push your shit because, and, you know, an audience necessarily isn't going to pay attention, but industry people pay attention. Yeah. And if they know, oh, this guy, like this producer, you know, his shit is gold, you know. If he's...
There's usually a reason they think that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because they've proven themselves.
Yeah,
they've
exactly.
proven their work.
So, yeah.
While, like, the name attached to it helps the industry side,
yeah,
having them on there definitely makes the music better. So,
yeah, true. But the name itself,
yeah,
an audience isn't gonna give a shit, you know.
Oh yeah.
But they'll hear the product. They don't know why it's better,
exactly.
But they'll hear the difference. Mm-hmm. And industry wise, and this is something that it's fucking My Chemical Romance's old manager I was talking to, and bouncing some stuff off of him. And I was asking him about, there's a band called Dead, D-E-D. And they were on all the fucking festivals that I wanted to play. So I was asking him, like, what the fuck is up with this band? They came out of nowhere. They're on all the festivals. I see them on the Billboard chart, and they're a heavy band, you know. And he was like, I don't know. I haven't heard of them. He's like, oh, I see why. He's like, their producer. He's like, I can't remember the producer's name, but it was a big name producer. And, like, he was, like, he had just about everything he'd done, you know, had fucking nailed it and been gold, you know, and like super popular. So he's like, that's why, you know. He's like, if you get a producer like that, like, he's like, you got $100,000 to fucking pay a producer like that, then you can do that too.
Then you get to do that.
Yeah. And so that stuck with me when he said that. So I'm like, okay.
Are you guys looking? So you got this, you know, album in the process, in the works. Are you guys looking to start playing shows, or just go ahead and wait?
We had kind of kicked that around and I've talked to a few people about some shows, and nothing's panned out yet.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys been able to practice together at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to practice weekly. We get together and write once a week, and we practice once a week. And I'm writing pretty much every day. Just because, like, I need to, you know, and because we need material. So, like, I'm using Guitar Pro to try to write guitar riffs and shit, and writing lyrics and vocal melodies and drums, and just trying to get as many ideas together as we possibly can. And I've been trying to push Scott and Wade to write as much as they can too, and let's just get it going, you know, pass around ideas. Unfortunately, Wyatt's kind of fallen off because he's military. And he's like, I think he's in Japan now. I don't know where the hell he is. He's flying all over the damn place. And his computer crashed and all kinds of shit. So he's been kind of out of it, which is unfortunate because, like, we're really about to really kick it into gear. And I would love to have him be able to get more involved to some degree, just so he can get some of the joy out of this, you know, because he's helped write stuff, but, you know, and I've told the guys too, you know, it's like, if he can ever make it out to a show, I would love to have him on stage with us, you know. And that's nothing like I'm not trying to, like, kick them aside or anything, you know. It's just for, like, one show, just to have this guy that's really helped us get on stage and play the stuff, you know.
Reciprocating?
Yeah.
Reciprocating.
Because, you know, and I wouldn't mind having him come out if we go, you know, to LA and track with, you know, big dogs. If he could actually make it, I wouldn't mind having him come out and lay down some licks or something, you know, just for him to have that experience, you know, because he's fucking earned it, you know. But it's just one of those things that's, like I said, you know, kind of a communal effort to try to get this shit off the ground. But, you know, and that's like... he's so busy and all over the place. I don't know if he even could do that, but I would love to have him do that. Just like I said, like you said, reciprocal. But we don't know. We'll see what happens. If we actually get to play some big shows and have him come out and do a song or something, that would be sick. You know, that'd be sick. I would hope for him, because I know he misses playing. You know, that's why he started helping me write this stuff, was because he really missed writing and missed playing guitar. But
Yeah. So shows we'll see.
we'll see,
Album,
man.
we got
Yeah,
the single.
we're
about
working
2
on it.
weeks.
Yeah, we're in 2 weeks. I'll be out there doing that, and
Do you
then
have a
when we
time frame for?
there, I really don't, unfortunately. Tentatively, we would be tracking the album in late June, early July.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that's very tentative. Very tentative. But that's what we're working on. If it, if we go with him, that's probably what we'll do.
Yeah.
The money thing is an issue, and you gotta figure it out. So it may take longer. I don't know, but that's when they're open, and I'm ready. I think we're ready. I think the band's ready. We've got enough songs, and by that time we should have a couple more. So we will be ready. He's snoring over there.
What?
Snoring.
Must be regular breathing. That's bad, Jesus.
But yeah, I mean we'll have the goddamn album done before the end of this year. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But I would like to have it out. Really, I wanted to go in the studio in January. Really, but it didn't work out that way. Just couldn't pull it together quickly enough. And you don't necessarily want to rush things either. Even though I am very eager to get out and do it, there's something to be said for patience. Get it right, So
Do it right the first time.
Yeah,
Then you don't
so-
have to go back and do it again.
yeah, but we're working on it. And I would love to be able to do this in late June, July. We'll see what happens. But that single, we're not sure yet if we're gonna where the single comes out.
Yep.
But
You kind of have to see what comes of it at that point.
Well-
if it is just single, if it's
Yeah.
part of the album.
yeah, well, I was concerned about when the single came out as opposed to the album, but when I was talking to Shandan, he was like, "Fucking, don't worry about it." He was like, "It's a single-driven business right now,
Yes.
And
Thank you.
and he was like, I honestly wouldn't worry about when the single comes out as opposed to the album, So it's like, all right, I'll try not to worry about it then. I'm gonna try to listen to him, but I'm not sure how we'll tackle it. If we're gonna release anything, it's got to be big. So we're gonna do a music video for sure. Like we'll have a music video, and we'll have to put some money behind promoting it. And luckily enough, I have a few friends that are on the promotion end of it that can help us with that. So
What's I don't know if this is your side knowledge or anything,
Yeah.
but what's the best way to go about promoting that?
that's not my expertise
Okay.
really.
Yeah. That's why you have friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why. Yeah, I lean on them. That I will turn to them at that point, and they'll do what is best. I know with Dorian, Michael Buddha, helped us a lot with Dorian, which he really helped us push it up. Which EMP had a hand to play in that too, but he really helped us push it up the Billboard charts,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a friend of mine was at Planet Fitness, like running on the treadmill, and our music video was on the fucking TV in Planet Fitness. Yeah.
Wait, is that the one with like is it Red?
No, that's old. That's Ivan.
That's old. Is it?
Yeah, Red was Ivan.
No, not sorry, not.
Are you talking about the paint was
oh,
red?
Yeah.
That was probably Ivan too, because I don't think I did a video with red paint.
No.
This one was done in the.
I might be thinking, I might be thinking of a completely different band because everything is just molds together at this point. Like,
I feel you. But that one was done in the. We're going back to Ink and Clink. That festival that we did, the 6,000, that was the biggest crowd that I have done, was at the Mansfield, Ohio State Penitentiary, which is the prison that Shawshank Redemption was based off of, and they shot stuff. Yeah,
That's super cool.
it's huge. It's a castle, and spooky as all hell. But we shot the music video in there, so that's that music video, which is kind of funny for it to be playing at Planet Fitness. Like, it was creepy. But I'm fucking all about. I'll tell you what. Apparently, it was playing at Universal too, in Florida.
Yeah.
Our song was playing at Universal. Fucking, are you kidding me?
Ow.
Yeah, I know.
Ow.
The promotion company that we were using,
Yeah.
those are the markets that they pushed it out to.
Yes.
You know, and that we were on the Billboard chart. You know, like that's kind of still hard to fucking even fathom that happened, because I never saw a dime from it. I never got any money. You know.
Going from origin of zero.
Yeah, right. To fucking that, which is that's pretty mainstream, you know.
Very. I mean, Planet Fitness and Universal are pretty mainstream.
Yeah, and being on the Billboard charts with Breaking
Yeah.
Benjamin and
Yeah.
Metallica and all these guys is crazy. And we didn't capitalize on it. You know, that's really the real kicker, is we had that and we just fucking dropped the ball. And because our next song was Daggers, which was to me a stronger song. And I know SiriusXM and everything, whenever they heard, we sent both of those songs out, and they're like, let us know when you're releasing this one, because we really want to push this.
Yeah.
You know. And I think it was one of those. And so I was like, that's great, because there was some debate like before, like, which is the bigger single? And I was, Daggers is going to be the bigger single for sure. And for me to hear that from those guys, I'm like, see, guys, I'm telling you, like, this will be the big one. But we never put any money into it. We didn't. We made a music video, and that was it. We didn't promote it at all. And so it just fell flat on its face. And I was super pissed about that, because I was like, we had this where few bands fucking go, you know? And we...
So few, especially
Yeah.
that genre.
Yeah, and this was your second chance, because Moto had been there once before, and now we're getting back to that point, and you're just gonna drop the fucking ball again? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, few bands get one shot, you got two shots, and you're just gonna fucking, like... So I was really pushing, like, we got to do a campaign for this, you know, and so we had an investor, and who would put money, and he would not invest in this song unless he heard from me specifically that he was going to get paid back, because they hadn't paid him back.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't tell him that, because I, again, looking to the future, I'm like, I can't say that, you know.
You can't tell for certain.
No.
So,
And so we
you're
didn't.
not gonna lie.
We didn't have the money. And so then I was like, you know what, guys? If we fucking do this, we can still do it. If we save a degree of money from every show. And so they gave me, I think it was like 150, something like it, whatever it was. And they're like, okay, we'll let you hold on to it. Like, so that we save it, because we're not good at saving. I was like, okay, but I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. There's going to come a point in time in this tour that you're going to have spent all the money, and we're going to be where you have to take this money from me for us to get to the next gig, because you're not going to handle the money right that you have. And I'm like, no, that won't happen. That's exactly what happened. So we didn't have money to promote the song. And so, you know, there you go. That's one of the big reasons why I have goals, you know, and if I can't reach those goals because of, then I'm going to do it to someone else, you know. And so that's kind of where that was. I'm like, I've seen that this is as far as we can go, you know. So, and like when Edsel was talking to me, he's like, you got to take like 3 steps back and take 10 steps forward, you know. And so I'm like, all right, you know, I can get down with that. Like, all I've done my whole goddamn life is sacrifice. So let's sacrifice a little more, and we'll step back, and we'll go back to the gutter, and we'll fucking build something, you know.
And it's not, what's 2 years?
Yeah.
You know, what's 3 years?
Yeah.
What, like, it's...
In the grand scheme of things, if you can get to where you couldn't have gotten before, then let's do it. Because I was not interested in just touring repeatedly the same venues. You know, I'm ready to be where I saw Iowa. You know, that's what I want to do, and you know, I want to do whatever I can to get there. So.
You got a little glimpse of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, now I need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're right. We did get a glimpse of it. You know, we played some big shows, and we had the song out. We were on the Billboard charts. We were on our way, and then, you know. So, and I see Ivan doing the thing, and yeah, it's there. You know, and you know, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I know the right people. I feel like I have the talent. I feel like the guys that I have working with me have the talent. You know, let's do the thing. You know.
Sweet.
So.
Nick's the drunk one today.
Not the drunk one.
He's fucking tanked, bro.
Drink.
We're over here drinking water.
Yeah, everybody's drinking fucking water. Stay hydrated, people.
Is H2O is a promoter for this podcast. Right?
Yeah, if they ever want to sponsor.
H2O in general. Can that happen? Can water sponsor? I guess Dasani could.
Just Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Aquafina. Is Aquafina still a thing? I don't feel like I see Aquafina.
It is.
I've always seen Dust.
I don't know who owns it.
I don't. Yeah, I guess I haven't been looking for it, but I don't remember the last time I drank an Aquafina.
I don't really drink bottled water.
No, you just.
Cutscene.
I'd rather not.
I grew up on like well water.
Yeah,
so when
me
people,
too.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, the tap water tastes bad." I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Well, city water to me can be weird.
Yeah.
But like country water.
Right.
Yeah, but like, because like you said, like well water, like straight up, like my grandpa fucking dug it and fucking, you know, that's what I'm from, you know, that's what I'm about. Let's go dig a fucking well. Use a fucking stick. Use a fucking stick. You find the fucking water. You dig a well.
Hill, boy.
You know what I'm talking about with the stick?
Isn't it the cross?
The thumbs and the
Yeah.
Some people don't know what that's about. They're like, "What are you talking about? What is this black magic?"
I remember. I don't know. It was the Mormon Trail.
The Mormon Trail.
Yeah. It ran through where I'm from. So there. Keep in mind, maybe it wasn't the Mormon Trail. Maybe not Mormon Trail. Now that I said it again, I'm like, that's wrong. It's when they were going out west. Someone knows it. Anywho.
I don't know what you're talking about.
People were moving out west for
gold?
For gold.
Okay,
stuff from the east. Anyway, people were dying. People were dropping.
Are you talking about well, this is Indians. The Trail of Tears?
No, it was white people.
Okay.
It was white people.
Right? The Trail of Tears was Indians, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I'm not a history buff.
You're right.
There was like a game. It was a computer game.
Oh, Oregon Trail?
Oregon Trail. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep, the Oregon Trail. So it ran through...
The Mormon Trail.
The Mormon Trail.
Good
God.
God.
That sounds bad. So it ran through, like, where I'm from. And we went out to one of the spots that apparently, like, it ran right through, and we've got the little sticks, and it's supposed to, like, they cross over when they're supposed to be a body.
Yeah.
So we're, like, walking around, there's the sticks are just flying across, and we're like, oh, dude, there's a lot of bodies around here.
Jesus. Yeah, it's the same thing, like, if you get, like, basically a wishbone kind of deal, you know, and you, like, twist it and turn it up, and then when you watch it, it'll, like, point down to the water.
Yeah.
I watched my grandpa do that several times. Yeah.
It's so weird.
It is weird. But, I mean, who am I to question it? Fucking, I've seen it work, so. Maybe he's pulling one over my eyes.
He knew it was there.
Yeah.
He had, like,
he already knew.
surveyors come out.
Yeah. But, you know how grandpas are. They're amazing people.
No, but, anything else you want to promote, or?
Well, there is a web series that I am doing some music for. It's a Tales from the Morgue. It's a buddy of mine that I met, touring with Motograder and stuff. He was a fan, and just ended up being a cool guy. So we talk online a lot, and so he started doing this project, and I wanted me to score it. And I'm like, absolutely, sure. Because I've done a couple of things like that. I did for like just friends and stuff, but it was, just little animated shorts and stuff like that. And one of them actually won an award at some film festival, which was cool, But I think
doing the music for it.
Yeah, just the music. I might do some voiceover stuff.
What is it? Tales from.
It's like a series of kind of like Tales from the Crypt, but it's a cartoon, and it's like a dude, mortician, telling like a story about how whoever died, and it's like weird ways that people died, stuff like that.
And just animated, or
yeah, it's animated. Yeah, so
it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I don't know. I like doing weird little shit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm always up for collaborating on stuff, I was supposed to do a cover with Will's band and John and them. They were going to do Passenger, but Tool and Deftones.
Okay. And
I was supposed to sing on that, but I don't know whatever happened to that. I want to do it still. I was like, let's fucking do it live. Like, do it live! But I think that would be fun because I'm a big fan of Deftones and Tool. Really, Maynard's a great singer, great vocalist. So, but yeah, I'm always fucking doing something. I don't have anything in particular to really plug. I think that series, he hasn't given me the draft yet for me to score, but it's like late April. It's April. I'll say April 20th. I can just pull it up real quick just to be correct. Please talk amongst yourselves.
No, we'll wait. That's what we do.
We just wait around for people to look up stuff that they can't remember.
I want to find out what that music video was. I swear I saw it, and I was. Now you got Nick, who is 2 feet away from me, sending me stuff.
Oh, really?
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Musician Rescue.
Oh, is that it? Let me see it.
Oh,
that's like the page that he has up. That's what I found.
Yeah, that's got to be it. I just want to make sure.
I'm trying to look up the thing that you were just talking about. That I'm trying to look up the music festivals that you've been playing at. Just back and forth. There's so many windows.
Only 1,000 likes on Facebook.
They need us to be on there. They need to be us.
They need to come on the podcast, really.
Oh, there I see Shandan posting right now, actually, on Facebook. That's another thing about when you join like a band like that's pretty well known.
Yeah.
Your Facebook blows the fuck up.
Dude, I don't exactly enjoy social media. It's a nice way of saying that.
I don't post. It's a nice tool, but I don't post on it much.
If it wasn't for the podcast or music or something, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just posted something on Facebook earlier this week or last week. It's the first time in like months or a year.
And it was probably about the podcast.
Most likely.
I make him post about the podcast.
Okay, April 20th. I thought that was it, but I didn't want to say the wrong. But he's trying to do it, premiere it on April 20th. So that's a plug.
April 20th.
Yeah.
What was it again?
What is this? The Tales from the Morgue thing.
Tales from the Morgue. Okay, yeah.
Tales from the Morgue, little web series, and we'll see how it goes. It should be fun.
And then I know we got Cultist Black coming out July next year.
Well, yeah, we're gonna be hopefully tracking in July, but as far as when it comes out, God only knows. We gotta. Theoretically, we'll shop it. And see.
I was gonna ask, what's the process with that?
Well, we're gonna.
Because you're gonna record the single.
Yeah.
Or you're going in at least 2 weeks to work out that single.
Yeah.
Are you coming out with the single? No question. Like.
We're
Okay.
pretty much
awesome,
90% sure we're gonna
But
do
you're
that.
gonna send to me. Let me hear it.
Okay, yeah. Not sure what the single will be yet, but
Doesn't matter.
yeah, well, okay. But yeah, we'll come out with that. I'm not sure when, but we'll do that, and then we're gonna go out and track the album. No clue when the album would come out. I know once you get everything submitted, it takes like 2 to 3 months for the print and fucking do the whole shebang. But I don't know who the hell we would go through. It's all up in the air. I
Trying
know.
to get a record label.
Yeah. Because we got some people that'll help us shop it. So people in the fucking know that people listen to, because that's the whole thing. You gotta have something to listen to.
Someone they'll take a meeting with.
Yeah. So we got some different avenues, different things we can do, but I don't know. So fucking whoever's gonna be the best fit,
Yeah. So you do the single, then do you like kind of send out the single around to try to get
any sort of interest?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm really not sure. I don't think.
I don't know if that's yours. If that's someone else.
Yeah. I mean, if we, I feel like, seeing how we already know that we're going to do the album.
Yeah.
And we're going to shop the album. I don't know if there's really a lot of point.
I didn't know if you'd want to do it to try to get some backing if you're looking at finance.
Well, I mean, hopefully we don't have to do that, because I think we got it. So hopefully not. I mean, we probably won't really try to do much shop wise with the single. We'll probably, I mean, I'll send it to some people, I'm sure, like my friends and stuff in the industry, but we will try to get some sort of campaign together and try to hype up the release of it, and then push out the single, and try to make a splash. And while we're trying to finish the album, and fucking go from there.
Oh yeah. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
No.
I think we've covered.
Check out
most of my life.
What's your Facebook and all that stuff?
I mean, I'm
like that.
YouTube. On Facebook, I'm James Anthony Legion, and it's Cultist Black on Facebook. We like our tag or whatever. If you put in, it's like ridiculous. But it's Cultist Black, but it's CVLT. It's all fucking crazy. BLK or something. It's cryptic shit.
Couldn't get Cultist Black.
No, I mean it's on there.
Yeah.
It's on there, but just whenever, because it's like like put a tag or something.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story, because I had 2 Cultist Black pages, and I already had a Cultist Black tag on the other one.
Yeah.
So then I put that as my tag, because we were also trying to be really weird in the beginning of this whole thing, and like drop
Mysterious.
yeah. And so we have a website that I don't even know what it's called now. Fuck. Joe's gonna kill me for that, because he made the website. But I think it's I don't know. It's Cultist Black there. If you fucking look it up, you'll find us. And of course, the Motogrow shit's old hat. That's about it. On YouTube too. You should be able to find Cultist Black, because we got a couple of things up. Not much at this point, but we got like a little teaser. We got weird cryptic videos that we've been putting out.
Do you have anything on your phone you can show us? Because I like new stuff, like.
Anything you want to play over the podcast?
Oh,
Or not play over the podcast.
Or not play.
That's basically what happens.
yeah.
Oh, we got good stuff. We're just not going to put it on here.
Yeah, that's pretty much the case.
That's fine with me. I can do that.
So, all right, that's cool. I don't think I pissed anybody off, and no.
Share this. Tag them in it.
Fuck this guy.
See if you know.
I'm gonna crash right